Region in Central Alabama proper for over 24 years, always under the banner of God, family, and country. You can find the Gazette at many fine business establishments throughout the area and an excellent value for your advertising dollar. The Gazette provides you with a ready-made audience that shares your values, beliefs, and principles. Give them a call, 356-6700. Advertising with the Alabama Gazette is surprisingly affordable and extremely effective. 356-6700, the Alabama Gazette. Honest, informative, trustworthy, your conservative alternative newspaper. Real local news from real local people. The Alabama Gazette, they are most worthy of your support. Pro-life, pro-family, pro-America. 356-6700, give them a call. The Alabama Gazette, the people's paper.
Conservative Justice Sarah Stewart has the experience to lead Alabama's courts. As a tough-on-crime judge, Sarah Stewart presided over hundreds of cases, giving tough sentences to the worst criminals. Republicans can trust Justice Sarah Stewart to defend the Constitution and protect our families. On March 5th, vote conservative Republican Sarah Stewart for Alabama Chief Justice. Paid for by Sarah Stewart Campaign, 2029B, Airport Boulevard, Mobile, Alabama, 36606.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
In politics, man must learn to rise above principle.
I'm also very much of a germaphobe, by the way.
Thank you, Dr. Pepper, and thank you, Chancellor, or Dr. Paper, and thank you, Chancellor.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
Fat broads and horse.
Shut up, silly woman. Can you get a coffee, please?
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm Joey, and we have a full house today. Eddie Bader's in the studio, as is Craig Monger. Gentlemen, we're reunited again after yesterday. How y'all doing?
Oh, I'm just stellar.
Stellar? Doing all right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, today we air out the rumor mill.
Oh.
So this morning...
No, I am not John Cena.
You're not John Cena?
Just saying, I know which ones we're clearing up. Okay.
All right. Well, this morning I got a text and actual multiple sources here.
Mm-hmm.
And it said this, that apparently the chief of police here in Montgomery, Chief Albert, is out of his job and a press conference will be held later today.
Oh, okay.
But a little backstory here. I've been hearing rumors about the Montgomery Police Department for a year and a half now. Heck, it was a mess even when Chief Finley was around. And I remember seeing like all those officers that got up in front of the city council and started raising hell about problems inside the department. I'm like, what the heck is this? I don't know what's going on exactly, but it seems like there's a lot of smoke here, and what the heck is the source? But though I've been hearing these rumors, and that's what I chalked them up to be, rumors, for a year and a half, I've chosen not to come out publicly. Why? Well, because I think you should give people the benefit of the doubt. A new chief, I think you should take into consideration it might be disgruntled employees.
Mm-hmm.
It might be folks with an axe to grind who are trying to climb that ladder. Like most industries, even law enforcement, there can be a lot of, say, gamesmanship behind the scenes and politics internally, especially when careers are at stake. So I waited and waited and waited, and something just clicked in me today. We can't keep doing this. I don't know what the problem is at the Montgomery Police Department, if there's a problem at all. But when I'm seeing posts by former officers, some tied up in lawsuits, saying that the department does not have your back, leave. They will leave you hung out to dry if you don't, and if you mess up one day. And then, a week or two ago, you start hearing all this stuff about sexual harassment coming from the top. Again, we didn't run to the airwaves and go, "Ooh, let's talk about it." Because again, who knows? But again, something clicked today. When I saw this text that he's out, I still had the same reservations. But I'm putting it out anyway. Because I'm tired of the rumor mill. I'm tired of the telephone game. I'm tired of the whispers and the shadows and the smoke and shade being thrown around everywhere. So I've been informed since I posted this today that no, Chief Albert's at his job. He's fine. He's going to be at a meeting this afternoon.
Oh.
He's there. Folks also told me that some officers, when they showed up today, were told to shut up about this rumor. It's just a rumor.
Oh. So apparently they're aware of it.
But here's my question on the latest thing. Because I think, even though there's a lot I don't know and I don't seek this stuff out, don't get me wrong. Don't consider my aloof pose as a sign of I don't really care. I would like the city to do well. And I'd like the police department to be run well to keep the city safe. So there's a lot I don't know. And it's by design to try to stay somewhat impartial in all this as much as you can. But it does seem to me that there's a heck of a problem around the culture at the police department. There are a hell of a lot of people willing to say awful things about current leadership and all sorts of folks there. Will they go on the record? No, we can't do that. So I'm putting it out here on this most recent thing. Is it or is it not true? What is true and what is false? Were there sexual harassment allegations put against the chief of police, Daryl Albert? If there were allegations, was there investigation into those allegations? Was that investigation handled internally, or was it from somebody on the outside brought in to investigate the matter? If there was an investigation, in fact, of these allegations, what did that investigation conclude? Those are questions I would like answered. You know, Eddie, you've been in here when we've interviewed Mayor Reed and Daryl Albert.
Oh, yeah.
And would you say that my interview style's fair?
Oh, yeah.
Deferential?
No, you've been always fair. You're not a gotcha guy, and you're upfront about it.
Yep.
And you tell them that when they're here. Just up front, I'm not a gotcha. I just want to have a conversation.
Right.
I consider it to be really fair.
So it's not like I got an axe to grind against
the
city and all this stuff. Again, I have more to life than just that. But I do care and want things to run well. And if I'm a guy who's fairly disinterested and I'm hearing all this crap, Lord knows where the folks who get all engaged in the grapevine, what they're hearing, what they're saying.
Sounds like they're frothing at the mouth.
So I don't know, maybe it was the mood I woke up in today. Maybe it was just the final straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm saying, I don't care anymore. I'm kicking the tires. We're getting to the truth. And I think the best disinfectant is sunlight. Maybe it is just pure BS. Just rumors. They're just smearing a good person. But there's too much there. And I'd like to know the truth. Enough of all this, we're handling it behind the scenes. That doesn't help anybody. And we're not going to have a strong community. We're not going to have a strong city if everything is handled in the back room and through rumor and innuendo. Let's have it out. That said, 272-9228. So should I delete this Facebook post?
No. It's getting too much great engagement, honestly.
Oh, should I update it to say, well, I've been told it's not true?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a compromise.
Yeah.
Hey,
all right.
You have the post up where you say I'm hearing yada yada yada,
But again, I would like to know, just giving it back to y'all, like, I would like to know, were these allegations real? Were they investigated? What was the conclusion of that investigation?
And it's not just this situation, Joey. Like you know as well as I do.
Right.
I mean, this is my job. I do this for a living, and there is a culture of silence surrounding not just the police department, but everything that goes on in the Montgomery government. Even during when the Riverfront brawl went down, we were hearing that someone had turned in their badge or that someone had resigned over the whole debacle. Couldn't get any confirmation. You heard conflicting remarks, and it's like, now is the time to come out and set the record straight. Did this happen? Did it not? We never get answers. There is that's the best way I can describe it. There's a culture of silence.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know.
Fear, intimidation, or just don't want to rock the boat.
Keeping
just
up
trying to get my
appearances,
time. Just trying to get my time to my retirement.
Well, anytime I think of the term culture of silence, I think of a book by that title. It was written about Jerry Sandusky at Penn State. And everyone asked the same question during when that happened. How could so many people in the top levels of the administration be aware of this and nobody said anything? And that is because cowardice is the easy road. It's really easy to say nothing, pretend like you heard nothing, or to just assume that somebody else is going to handle it. But when things seem to be getting worse and worse and nothing seems to be getting done, at some point you as an individual have to say, enough. Enough is enough. I'm going to be the one to take care of this. I'm going to be the one to address it.
And if these allegations, if they're anything to them, there's probably a woman on the receiving end of the harassment. And if it's true, she knows. I don't care if it's on this show or somebody else's show or in the paper or on 1819 News. I don't care where it comes out in. I'd like the truth to be known if it is in fact true. And if it's not true, we should start looking into who is able to put out a rumor, because it wasn't me. I'm not the one who spread this around. I just alerted the masses not usually paying attention on the Book of Faces. Who is the one pushing all this stuff if it ain't true? Who's the group pushing it? And again, I come back to the point of, if we've got these competing cliques of folks arguing over this power, when I'm being told that we're less than 300 officers, again, you've got officers stating publicly, even if they delete it off Facebook later, that I don't feel like the department has my back. I think you can chalk some of it up to, there is a national trend, a decline in people wanting to do the job of policing. And that's a damn shame. I also kind of understand it when you look at the world today. But I don't think you can chalk up all this stuff to a national trend. I think they're unique problems.
And going back to what you said, if it isn't true, something needs to happen about, like you said, a clique of people that seem to be putting out things that aren't true. Address it, find out, because that's not good leadership. It's not good leadership to have a gaggle of unhappy and discontented people that are willing to throw a monkey wrench in the goings-ons of the Montgomery government. And God help us, the police department, if that person's there or that group of people's there, they need to be dealt with judiciously.
Yes.
So get in front of it. Let us know what's happening. Say, hey, we have a group of people that just want to see this person or that person brought down, and it's all political, and they've been dealt with. But again, there's so much smoke here when it comes to how many officers we've lost in the Montgomery Police Department. There's not enough.
Design. It's all by design.
There's not enough.
Yeah, and it's just, at this point, again, I'm not in the department. I'm not an expert on law enforcement. I'm a jackass on the radio, pardon me. And it's just frustrating to see. We can be better than this. And the only way I think going forward that can make the situation better is speak up. Speak out. You can use this platform. I'm sure there are other shows in the city that'd love to hear from you. I'm sure there are plenty of people on social media even that would love to hear from you. I know 1819 News would love to hear from you.
I would adore to hear from you if you're out there.
Hey, Montgomery Advertiser, WSFA, WAK, all y'all.
Yeah.
I don't care who gets it. Put the truth out there. Heckgummit. Let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days.
Hey, but you are an intelligent jackass.
But I am a jackass nonetheless.
Hey, that's a dirty, rotten lie that there's less than 300. There's 299, and there's 5 in the academy.
There you go. There you go.
Let's put that to rest right away. What I would like to know is what was the outcome of the investigation in New Orleans, because there was a similar incident of similar nature in New Orleans, and what was the outcome of that investigation?
Somebody got a new job.
Yeah. No, that's typically what happens with this. There's no real outcome. Someone just leaves, and then they're like, well,
investigation ends.
No, that's that.
Well, the New Orleans Police Department is still under, and has been under for quite some time, receivership. And the mayor of the city said the police department is so bad, so terrible, that we need for it to be under receivership, and we need help. So our present chief was there, not as a slick sleeve, not in the rank and file, but in a command position when all that was going on. And that's where he came from. But anyway, if you talk to the rank and file, they'll tell you what their grievances are. Not getting it fed to you from captain and above, but talk to the slick sleeve on the street, and they'll tell you. And it's like having to come in after they've worked a full shift. They haven't spent any time with their family. They're dead tired, and they have to come in and sit on the mayor's detail because they don't have enough officers. And they're tired of riding around in 2010 Crown Vics that they don't even make anymore with 200,000 miles on them, while the chief and other staff members drive around in $90,000 high country vehicles. And that's just a few of the complaints that the rank and file have.
Yeah, and it's not a '90s Crown Vic that's parked outside of Stephen Reed's house in perpetuity 24/7. That's a much nicer police vehicle.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know.
Well, his aide / driver / bodyguard and several members of the mayor's staff drive those $90,000 high country vehicles. But that's what we pay for in the city of Montgomery. Y'all have a good day, gentlemen.
You too, bud.
Appreciate it, Simple Days. Yeah, I didn't expect to begin my day this way, but there's something, I'll just be honest, about getting the text of this latest rumor that he's gone. There's going to be a president. I was pissed off. Like, really, this again? Now I have to sit here and go, oh, is it true? Isn't I don't know. And just add it to the 100th thing. So we're going to have it out. And if you, again, want to say it on these airwaves, 272-9228. The door is open. But we also have plenty of other things going on in the world today.
Did you see Gloria Spam's comment?
No, I need to look at the comment section here. So we're moving on past the die with dignity topic from yesterday. Yeah, we are. Yeah. Well, actually, you went to the Attorney General's press conference this morning, right?
I did. It was at 10 o'clock. It was just to address and talk about the successful execution that happened last night. And I was wrong, Eddie. It didn't happen at midnight. It happened at like 8 o'clock
8 something
in the evening. Yeah.
I thought it would be last minute too.
Yeah. It sounded like it went relatively according to plan, although there was discussions of they said that he was writhing, convulsing, even though convulsing is actually a medical term, so he wasn't doing that, I don't believe, but he was moving. Involuntary movements is what the Attorney General called it. Happens, it happens anytime a person dies for whatever way, if there's anything left of the nervous system.
Would you say most of the questions of the press corps were about Smith, who was killed last night?
Oh yeah. There was one or two that was about, actually just one that asked the Attorney General if he'd spoken with their family, and he said he just heard what they said at the press conference last night, and he and I agree with him, said that they handled themselves with grace, and I think that
this is the Senate family. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and the AG put out a narrative. Essentially, after he did all the facts of a case, he put out a narrative of what actually happened with the murder that happened 35 years ago, and it's pretty damning. And I think you said this yesterday, Craig. I think it's misplaced compassion at a certain point. I can take the abstract arguments that, how many is too many if you wrongfully put somebody to death at the state level through the death penalty. But this particular guy and what he did, well, we'll read it later, just to remind folks. Yeah. Let's go to Ed, who's on line 3. Hey, Ed, how you doing?
Hey, Joey, how you doing, brother?
I'm all right.
Hey, I along with you, I'm tired of the rumors and innuendos, but I want to just share this with you and your audience. I have a friend that is in the media. I'm not going to say who he is, although I just narrowed that down by 50%, didn't I? But he has been contacted by one of these alleged women, their attorney, and she has asked to speak with him, and she's gonna put it out there. And supposedly this is supposed to happen next week, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. He needs to make the announcement. That's for them to do. But I will tell you, there is an attorney that has contacted a local media personality and is ready to talk. So yes,
if I guess, will you tell me?
There is something. Whether it be an allegation, it could be, it could be false, but there is something, and we should know a lot more, hopefully, next week.
Well, I'm supposed to be, I appreciate it, and I'm supposed to be competitive about this and all this stuff. No, I just want the truth to be out, especially with local issues like this. Let's just get the truth.
Absolutely. This is when you miss Norman Lumpkin or an Eileen Jones, because she would be down there, Eileen especially, would be down there sitting in front of the mayor right now saying, what the hell is going on?
Yep.
So, but anyway, y'all have a great weekend.
Appreciate the call, Ed. Let's go to Red Top. Hey, Red Top.
Hey, for me, the big news today is not on this planet at all. The Mars helicopter made its last flight yesterday.
Well, that's awesome, but
yes, it is awesome. It lasted like 1,000 times longer than they said it was going to, and the only reason why it got damaged, landing one of the wings. But what an incredible engineering feat. Just goes to show you how good NASA is, and I wish they had not contracted the moon lander to somebody else, because if NASA's already done it once. So still waiting for all these other guys to get off their ass to do something, but NASA sure knows how to do their job. And, of course, big-time NASA in Alabama. I feel capital punishment's barbaric, and everybody knows that, but that's all I have to say about that. Y'all have a great weekend, and at least it's warm, fellas. Roll Tide, go Trump.
See you, man.
Yeah, the swings in temperature are a little rough on the sinus.
Very Alabama-like.
Dude, I'm sweating in January. What's going on here?
Well, last week we were 16 degrees.
Yeah. my water froze up. I didn't have water for like 12 hours, and today I'm in a short sleeve shirt.
Right.
Only reason I'm not in shorts is because I had to attend a press conference and look somewhat presentable.
And so just to reiterate for folks who are tuning in just now, I was told that the chief was out this morning, and instead of what I usually do, being a doubting Thomas, which is my natural disposition, I'm like, screw it. We're out with it today.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been told now by folks that, no, the chief is not out. He's there. He's at work today. We're fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. This is fine. We'll see.
We'll see.
But, this happened with the last police chief. Everything's fine. It's fine. We got confidence in him. It's fine. Everything's great. And then a couple weeks later, he's out.
And then a couple weeks later, we wanted to press some charges or something.
And then there's a lawsuit now. It's still ongoing. How many lawsuits just of police officers do we have in this freaking city?
Well, more than we should, that's for sure. But when your leadership doesn't really care about the lawsuits and openly tells you they don't care, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
It does stink, though, whenever you have just an overtly and overly litigious society in general. The legitimate ones do get a bit buried in the gobbledygook.
Right.
And it's unfortunate.
And that's why I'm always a little skeptical of all this stuff people tell me, especially when they're not willing to talk. But it reaches a fever pitch at a certain point. And so if you have information on this, folks, and you want to let it out, you're more than welcome always on this program. It is fascinating, to Ed's point about, older journalists who used to work in more institutional media here in this part of the world. You're seeing the bloodbath of institutional, say, traditional legacy media, especially print media right now. The LA Times, laid off 90% of their staff? You're seeing, let's say I've got family in the business at a fairly high level. He's been seeing all the problems for 10, 15 years.
Business Insider had a big one today.
Well, for instance, it used to be like you would have a few investigative reporters, and that reporter would have one, maybe two stories they work on all year. And they've got all these resources to execute their investigation and to button up that investigation and make it look great for public consumption and all this. None of that exists anymore. Now we're all just competing for clicks on social media, sadly.
Now, did it go away because of advertising and budget cuts, or did we just get away from good journalism?
I think a bit of both.
Yeah.
And there are folks, the new model is more the nonprofit model.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where your 1819 is a nonprofit. But then you could take the left-wing one, like ProPublica, I think, is a nonprofit model, too. Daily Caller, nonprofit model. So you're starting to see more folks. It's a passion project for them. You have folks that are interested, willing to give funding to that, and then you can fund true investigations that way. But yeah, maybe it's the social media era. I don't know. But something is breaking down. The world as we knew it, let's say in the 70s and 80s or 90s, it ain't here anymore on a lot of fronts, and media is one of them. So if we're going to live in this new day and age where everything's a wink and a nod and a whisper or a rumor on social media, the only way you deal with that, folks, is you talk publicly. And, of course, if you're guilty, you don't want to talk publicly. Or if it's a nasty allegation that ain't true, that's still uncomfortable to talk about and deal with.
True.
But that's the only way we get through all this stuff. I think it's Dr. Tankersley who told me not too long ago, we can talk about, say, the COVID era and all the science around the vaccines and the 6 feet separation and the mask and all this stuff, the lockdowns, all this stuff. But the biggest problem that was shown in that pandemic, and I think it's shown in a lot of problems in this country, and it's happening here in Montgomery, we ain't immune to it, is people don't tell the truth.
Yep.
They'd rather keep their head down, keep their job, keep paying the mortgage. I get it. Who doesn't have a family to feed and a mortgage to pay? But enough of us go, well, I'm just going to keep my head down. Where the hell do we end up?
Right here.
Yeah. So let the truth out. Let it out. Let the chips fall where they may. Again, 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the program. And, well, it looks like I got everybody's attention. We haven't had this many people hop on the stream in a while. Hey, Eddie, you been by New Look Decorating Center anytime soon?
Went by there, it was last Saturday. And if I get my project done quick enough this week and start on the second one, I'll be by there again this Saturday.
Oh, really?
Very nice folks in there. And nice thing is they do work on Saturdays. And not just the part-time help. It's the really guys that know what they're doing. They don't just bring in the backup for the weekends like a lot of places do.
Who'd you most recently work with, Charlie?
Charlie, yep. I needed some stain. I needed to match something I'm doing, so I didn't have to redo the whole thing. And he was quickly able to picked out 2 colors, and he's quickly able to determine, hey, this one's going to be better for you. And it's like a stain gel, so I think it's a little bit thicker than a regular stain. Yeah. And I'm telling you, dude, it matched right up. I don't have the most faith in people, so I was a little bit of a Debbie Dowder. That's why I brought that sample piece in, and side by side, they look exactly alike. So very happy with the service there.
And it's not just Eddie's experience. So many of our listeners have gone by New Look Decorating Center. They're a great Benjamin Moore shop, whether you're looking at those stain supplies, paint supplies. They can give you advice on who to hire if it's a big job you're contracting out. They can give you tips and tricks if you're doing it yourself. And they also have a wallpaper and fabric specialist.
That's right.
Named Katie.
That's
right. Ask for Katie when it comes to those wallpaper and fabrics, including the Tebow wallpaper that's apparently very popular these days. So that number for New Look Decorating Center, 271-0007, or you can always go to newlookdecoratingcenter.com. But I encourage you to stop by. Go see Brett Lanham and that entire team there. 6237 Atlanta Highway, right where Bell Road dead ends to Atlanta Highway. You'll see it in all its glory. Benjamin Moore's New Look Decorating Center. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your market report. How is the real estate market and what does 2024 hold for us? Last year, over 4,700 homes sold and closed through realtors, and the average sales price was $245,000. People who have owned real estate over the last 2 to 3 years have profited by keeping their homes and now have more equity in their home than ever. The people who listed their homes with realtors were able to find ready and willing buyers that paid at or above their asking price. Mortgage companies and local builders have found ways to overcome higher rates with attractive programs that allow for low-cost refinancing when the rate drops. Some of the local mortgage companies have new programs that help buyers with low down payment programs, such as one program with 1% down or even less. If you haven't bought a house yet, now is the time. For all the information, call Bo Goodson at 221-2883 or the Goodson Group at 551-0225.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Pallet Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby likes it.
Hey, it's Michael Fabiano. The playoffs are here. The stakes are higher than ever. And there's no better way to turn playoff football's big game energy into 100 times your money than Prize Picks. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's that easy. You could turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Get in the lab and cook up your winning entry. Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks is matching your first deposit up to $100 when you download the Prize Picks app and use code PRIMETIME. That's code PRIMETIME on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Hi, everybody. This amazing weather pattern continues. Wetter than normal, stormy at times, and very spring-like. Flash flood watch continues in effect through Saturday. Another round of showers and storms again today. Locally heavy tropical downpours with a high in the lower 70s, low tonight in the low 60s. Saturday, a stronger system. It's the last one in the series with showers and thunderstorms. Rainfall could be heavy. Some storms possibly strong, maybe severe. Saturday's high 73, low Saturday night 50, and then a cooler, drier air mass overspreads the area on Sunday with highs in the mid-50s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you once again for voting ASE the best credit union and best mortgage company in Central Alabama's Reader's Choice Awards. We're honored to serve our members for 69 years and counting.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. That's 272 9228. But, you know, with everything going on, I just want to reiterate. Because as you heard from Simpler Days call, that was a perfect example, folks, when you're talking about the Montgomery Police Department, that you could go on and on to where you're like, you forget what's the actual problem. It's so many different types of complaints that you're like, this is a cultural problem. These are people that just don't trust each other. They're willing to say whatever about one another. And that's a huge issue. But the one I would like to focus in on is, were there sexual harassment allegations? Was there an investigation of those allegations?
Right.
What did that investigation find? That simple. We shall see. 272-9228. So let's talk about the Attorney General's press conference. We already mentioned it a second ago, but what was kind of the main thrust of what Attorney General Marshall was saying?
Well, I mean, he was obviously interested, as anyone in his position should be, because they took a big risk with doing this, being the first state in the nation to actually carry out this procedure as a form of execution, and they seem to have done it relatively smoothly. I don't know if there was any hiccups in the process at all. It was done where most of the time this stuff is done either right at midnight or even after Ivy changed the rules. And this happened at 8 o'clock in the evening. And it's the entire process took about 22 minutes. The reason for that was Marshall said that he couldn't confirm when the nitrogen actually started to flow, which I don't know why that would be. I'm still trying to get answers from ADOC about that. But the main thrust of it was that it was a successful procedure that they had undergone, excuse me. And yeah, and also he really emphasized how much he regretted the fact, and he apologized actually to the victim's sons, that it took 35 years for this to be done. And he said he hopes it changes in the future. And he really didn't want to lose sight of the fact that, you know, there was a woman who was stabbed and bludgeoned to death.
And, you know, Kenneth Smith was officially pronounced dead at 8:25. 8:25 last night. And I'm reading here, this is straight from the Attorney General's office, but summary of the facts of the case, because he said stabbed, bludgeoned. Here's the narrative, and not just some narrative out of whole cloth. One decided in court twice. He was tried twice for these allegations. It's pretty buttoned up. But here's summary of the facts of the case. Early on a cold and cloudy Friday morning, Kenneth Smith woke up, dressed himself, and hit the road. He had agreed to do a job that day and was eager to earn the blood money he would be paid to do it, to murder an innocent and unsuspecting woman in her own home. In March 1988, Charles Sennett, the pastor of the Westside Church of Christ in Sheffield, Alabama, sought to hire a hitman. Reverend Sennett, who had incurred substantial debts and was having an extramarital affair, had taken out a large insurance policy on his wife. His scheme was to have his wife murdered, which would enable him, in one cowardly fell swoop, to escape both his financial obligations and his marital vows. Smith's crime was not impulsive or spontaneous, but carefully planned and cold-bloodedly deceptive. Through an intermediary, Reverend Sennett hired Kenny Smith and Smith's friend, John Parker, $1,000 each to conduct the murder. He also gave the men cash to purchase a firearm for the job, but they opted to use a far more cruel and painful weapon for the slaying, a 6-inch survival knife, and use the money instead to buy drugs. On the day of the murder, Smith and Parker drove to the Sennett home in Colbert County, with Smith sharpening the survival knife as they traveled. Reverend Sennett had assured Smith that his home would prove a perfect location for the murder because, quote, the house was out in the country. His wife would be home by herself, and they never had any visitors. Smith parked his car at the back of the Sennett home and knocked on the door, lying to Elizabeth that he and his friend were interested in hunting on the property and wished to look around the grounds. After spending some time outside, Smith again knocked on the door and lied to Elizabeth, telling her the men needed to use her bathroom, which she graciously allowed. Inside the house, Elizabeth was ambushed, violently punched, beaten, and bludgeoned and stabbed over and over again. with a 6-inch survival knife that Smith and Parker had brought with them. After the crime, 2 witnesses described how Smith's hands were puffed up or wrapped and bruised, evidence that suggested that he had struck many of the blows inflicted on Elizabeth. In addition to countless lacerations and abrasions that she sustained to her body, Elizabeth suffered a total of 10 stab wounds, 8 to her chest and 2 to her neck, which proved fatal. Elizabeth's face was harmed so terribly during the attack that an emergency medical technician at the crime scene, who was a close friend of the Sennett family, commented that he would never recognized her if he did not already know the identity of the victim. Kenneth Smith was tried for his crimes in 1989 and again in 1996. In both trials, Smith was convicted of capital murder by a jury of his peers and sentenced to death. And that sentence was carried out last night. We'll hit another break because, well, I think that's all that needs to be said. More news and views in the afternoon after this.
Not know whether he's coming or going. But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Sometimes you need things done around your house or land that your lawnmower or weed eater just can't handle. That's when you call Prattville Farm Center. They bring their own crew and equipment and clear whatever you need. They say no job is too small. I've been going to Prattville Farm Center for years, and I like dealing with hometown folks. They get the job done right and get it done quickly. If you have land that needs clearing, call Randy at Prattville Farm Center on South Memorial Drive in Prattville. Call 365-5400.
Hey there, River Region area. Dawson Electric hopes you had an amazing Christmas and a fantastic New Year. As we step into 2024, it's time to tackle those resolutions and make sure your home or business is in tip-top shape. And for all your electrical needs, there's one name you can trust, Dawson Electric. Whether you're planning a remodel, constructing a new home, or require service for your existing electrical systems, Dawson Electric has got you covered. Need emergency generators installed? Looking to enhance your outdoor space with stunning landscape lighting? Dawson Electric is the answer. We do it all for homes and commercial spaces alike. For more information, you can find us on Facebook. Search for Dawson Electric Company, LLC. Hit the like button and stay connected with us. We're happy to speak with you at any time. Just call 334-270-8024. Say it with me. That's 334-270-8024. For all your electrical service needs for home or business, call us at Dawson Electric. Dawson Electric, lighting up your world.
This is Jonathan with Oswalt's Apparel and Footwear in Prattville. With all that's changed in the last decade, I really thought that radio advertising was dead, but I was wrong. We opened our store during the pandemic, and we wouldn't have been near successful without advertising on Blue Water. Practically every day, someone comes in for the first time and tells us they heard about Oswalt's on the radio. I highly recommend advertising with Blue Water.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Conservative Justice Sarah Stewart has the experience to lead Alabama's courts. As a tough-on-crime judge, Sarah Stewart presided over hundreds of cases, giving tough sentences to the worst criminals. Republicans can trust Justice Sarah Stewart to defend the Constitution and protect our families. On March 5th, vote Conservative Republican Sarah Stewart for Alabama Chief Justice. Paid for by Sarah Stewart Campaign, 2029B, Airport Boulevard, Mobile, Alabama, 36606.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back. to do some views in the afternoon. So, pretty heavy so far to start today, but there are heavy things in life for sure. But how about a little bit of a palate cleanser? We've been sitting on this clip for a few days now.
Oh, yeah. I'm so happy.
And the one, do y'all remember the name of the guy named Phil Davidson? This video went viral. We're heading into election season. And so everybody's giving their little stump speeches. Like you go to some of these dinners or lunches, a forum, a meet and greet with the candidates and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And they all give a little bit of a stump speech. And it's often held in like a hotel ballroom or some civic center or church or whatever. It's humble. It's kind of all American. This is what America's all about. You get out there, even if it's not glamorous, you make your case to the people and, they vote. But sometimes the speeches go a little haywire. Yeah, just a little bit. So what we're going to do now is share this. Again, it's on the live stream, Joey Clark Live on YouTube. Like and subscribe. And this is Phil Davidson. This was from a few years back, actually about 13 years ago. He gave one of these stump speeches to earn your vote. Without further ado, take it away, Phil Davidson.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Starr County Republican Party Executive Committee, good evening. And thank you not only for your attendance, but for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Phil Davidson.
Oh.
And I am seeking our party's nomination for the position of Starr County Treasurer.
Okay, the first 10 seconds, he's all right. You know what I mean? Like, first 10 seconds sounds like a normal guy. And then when he says his name, what's happening to this man?
Getting amped up.
Ron Burgundy, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit and let the man finish.
Phil Davidson. And I am seeking our party's nomination for the position of Starr County Treasurer on November 10th. November of 2010. Excuse me. In terms of my background, I am from the village of Minerva, where I am serving my 13th year of elected service as a Minerva Council member.
No.
In terms of education,
Can you pause?
I have a bachelor's degree in sociology.
He's having to reference the notes, his own notes, for what position he's running for and what he's done in his whole life. Like, here's my experience, checks notes. It's like, you don't know what you've done in your own life.
Now, do you think this is just a case of, like, most people fear public speaking? Is this just nerves getting the better of this guy?
I think this is what happened when I was 7, and I was scared of lizards, and I decided, like, I'm just going to get over this fear, and so I went to grab it, and I squished it and killed it. That's what this is.
And you said, my name's Phil Davidson.
No, my name.
Psychology, a bachelor's degree in history,
no,
a master's degree in public administration,
What else?
and a master's degree in communication.
But he's not done.
In terms of elections across Starr County, I have represented our party twice on the county ballot. In both the primary and the general elections. When I ran for Starr County Clerk of Courts in 1996 and Starr County Commissioner in 2000, and I will not apologize for my tone tonight. I have been a Republican in times good, and I have been a Republican in times bad.
Lord. It's not going well for Phil.
Albert Einstein issued one of my most favorite quotes in the history of the spoken word, and it is as follows. In the middle of opportunity, excuse me, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. I'm going to repeat that so I have clarity tonight. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity.
And for folks who are just listening, he's pacing back and forth around this podium. He's having to look down at his notes on things he should know, to your point, Greg. And I think, we should stop it. There's too much. No, he keeps going.
This is the opportunity we've been waiting for. The Starr County Treasurer's Office is a mess. It is in dire need of structure and guidance.
Voice cracks.
And now is the time to seize this opportunity with an aggressive campaign and an even more aggressive campaigner. If nominated tonight, I promise each and every person in this room, I will hit the ground running, come out swinging, and end up winning.
Are we sure
Got
this
the
is-
energy, man.
Is this an Andy Kaufman or something?
I figured he's a very aggressive campaigner. Mussolini was a less aggressive campaigner.
Wow. Phil Davidson, man. There's more.
Let's send a message tonight to the people of Stark County and to the people of the Stark County Democratic Party. We're tired of business as usual. Drastic times require what? Drastic measures, yes! Who said that? Thank you! Drastic times require drastic measures.
It's my favorite part.
We will not tolerate incompetence and irresponsibility any longer.
Oh, wow.
Now is the time to snap the Democratic stranglehold on the Treasurer's office in two. And I harken back to what my friend Alex just said. He ran against the Treasurer in 1996. It was a problem then, it's a problem now. Infestation. Politics does not touch football.
No.
Politics is winner take all. It always has been, and it always will be. If nominated tonight, I want to develop and expand my campaign for what I believe is the greatest strength of the Stark County Republican Party, and that is its people.
It's people.
I believe in the axiom that all politics is local.
Yeah.
And because of this belief, I want to harness the thoughts and ideas that individuals in our party have. Concerning Stark County.
It seems like he's calmed down now.
Yeah, dude, he's got crazy eyes.
So, did he win?
No.
Did he get the nomination? Has anybody checked on him lately?
I don't think he got it.
Is he all right?
Poor
The
guy.
thing is, in his own mind, he's having like a "we will fight on the landing grounds, we will fight on the beaches." He thinks that he's having.
Yeah.
But you're running for a county treasurer, dog. Like,
Right.
the energy has to match the significance of the office.
And if you also go listen to the old Churchill speech, the words are so epic in hindsight and world historical, but Churchill's like, we will fight them on the beaches.
Yes.
We will fight them in the streets. We will never surrender. It's very mild. It's not, we will not do.
He was trying something new.
Well, again, Adolf Hitler did that quite well with the very aggressive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But again, that only works in a purely Germanic language. It doesn't work with like a hybrid Germanic romance language like English. It just doesn't sound
You're
right.
saying this guy, Phil Davidson, would have done well in the Weimar Republic.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I would.
Oh,
Like, he would
great
have been-
find,
he-
Craig.
He would have to go, and it stuck with me. If I ever need to pick me up, I just go to Phil Davidson.
Fantastic stuff.
I hope he's still around. I hope he found something else to be.
Can we get him on the
passionate
show? Someone call.
Right.
Someone call Phil
Book him,
Davidson.
man.
Somebody
Book
book him.
Thank you for having me on your show.
If nothing else, he'd be a great hype man.
Dude.
And you're right. The best part is when somebody says desperate times call for desperate. Who said that?
It's like,
I love you.
they probably just shriveled away. Don't hurt me.
Yeah,
Don't hurt me. I didn't say it.
Well, we have to hit our top of the hour break. First, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you out with that roof of yours.
Oh, yeah.
And they're at River Region Contracting. They're the premier roofing contractor in the River Region for a lot of reasons, but I in particular love how much they educate their customers and also how they are helping out folks. If you own a home, your roof is probably one of the most expensive aspects of your home, that and the foundation.
Yep.
The top and the bottom.
Very important too.
And you should get that roof inspected every 3 to 5 years. I would do it yearly. And here's the great news. At River Region Contracting, those inspections are always free.
Every time, Joey.
And the estimates are always free as well. And they're accurate in your experience, Eddie.
That's right.
Yeah. And they show up on time.
On time, very professional. Don't leave a mess.
Wow.
And like you said, they educate you.
Exactly. And they're also insurance specialists.
That's another
So
good
they
thing.
can walk you through a claims
I've
process.
seen them do that very well.
Make it an easy and swift experience. So y'all check out River Region Contracting today. That's 356-8635, 356-8635. And be sure to tell Todd Clark and the team there that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the afternoon sent you. More news and views, well, after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A man who was paid $1,000 to kill a woman more than 30 years ago has been put to death with pure nitrogen in Alabama. Kenneth Eugene Smith was one of two men convicted in the 1988 murder-for-hire slaying of Elizabeth Sennett. In consumer news, Tesla recalling nearly 200,000 vehicles in the U.S. because the backup camera may not display an image. That recall covers certain models Y, S, and X from the 2023 model year. All are equipped with full self-driving computer 4.0. The company says that software instability may prevent the camera image from showing while the Teslas are in reverse. The Dow had 52 points, but the NASDAQ is down 47. This is SRN News.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
John Solomon provides exclusive reporting and newsmaker interviews on John Solomon Reports on the Salem Podcast Network.
We broke this story because we got the documents early. They put out this new information, and it affirms our reporting that this Democrat donor gave about $5 million or more in assistance to Hunter Biden, basically paid off his bills.
Subscribe to John Solomon Reports today on Apple, Spotify, Google, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Hi, everybody. This amazing weather pattern continues. Wetter than normal, stormy at times, and very spring-like. Flash flood watch continues in effect through Saturday. Another round of showers and storms again today. Locally heavy tropical downpours with a high in the lower 70s, low tonight in the low 60s. Saturday, a stronger system. It's the last one in the series with showers and thunderstorms. Rainfall could be heavy. Some storms possibly strong, maybe severe. Saturday's high 73, low Saturday night 50, and then a cooler, drier air mass overspreads the area on Sunday with highs in the mid-50s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply for your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The Millbrook Mardi Gras Festival and Parade has been postponed due to inclement weather. Officials with the Millbrook Revelers announced that the festivities will now take place next week on Saturday, February 3rd. The parade is the largest Mardi Gras celebration north of Mobile. Companies that were denied licenses by the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission plan to depose 6 members of the commission. A courtroom full of lawyers argued about the depositions during a hearing Wednesday afternoon in Montgomery as hope for medical marijuana continues to go up in smoke. Alabama executed convicted murderer Kenneth Eugene Smith by nitrogen hypoxia Thursday night at Holman Correctional Facility in Atmore. Smith was pronounced dead at 8:25 p.m. after breathing pure nitrogen gas through a face mask to cause oxygen deprivation. The execution took about 22 minutes. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. an equal housing lender.
My name is Chris Tarantino, and I'm running for Prattville City Council District 5. I'm a 17-year military veteran. My family and I have lived all over the country, and we chose to make Prattville our home. I will work diligently and be transparent to ensure Prattville continues to be the home its residents would choose all over again. You can find more information about me and my vision for Prattville on Facebook or at ChrisTarantino4District5.com.
Paid for by Chris Tarantino, 518 Seasons Court, Prattville, Alabama, 36066.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. If you want to hop in on the program, it's 272-9228.
Or they can go to YouTube.
Yeah, Joey Clark Live on YouTube.
They can like and subscribe, and they can comment.
And apparently there was a meeting this morning that with the chief of police here in Montgomery, and everything's fine.
Seems that way.
Okay.
Okay. Everything's
Cool.
fine.
Good.
I'm just wondering whether or
That
not
always
the
makes you feel
allegations are true. Is there an investigation? What was the conclusion of that investigation, gentlemen?
Maybe it's ongoing.
Maybe
They
it's
can't-
ongoing. Yeah.
They can't speak on ongoing
Maybe everything's
investigations.
fine.
Maybe it's all fine.
It's fine.
All right.
It's like that meme with the guy in the house and it's burning down.
Right.
It's like everything's
Fine.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just fine.
Fine. Right. 272-9228. Did y'all happen to see this new video that James O'Keefe dropped? It was with a Capitol Hill intern that reveals how members of Congress are coerced to vote a certain way through blackmail and extortion after affairs and sex parties. One of the main quotes from the video with the staffer is, quote, "Cawthorn wasn't lying neither."
That surprised me.
O'Keefe Media Group founder James O'Keefe has discovered that nothing is as it seems when it comes to Congress's members' voting patterns, the staffers they hire, or the activity outside the Congress. Y'all remember that first circus where Gates vacated the chair? And, well, no, it wasn't even the first time they vacated the chair. It was the beginning of the Congress where they couldn't get a speaker, and it took McCarthy 1670 votes. You remember Paul Gosar of Arizona, how he's sitting there or standing kind of in the back of the chamber in the aisleway. Somebody comes up and whispers a thing. One of McCarthy's people whispers a thing in his ear, and you see the man turn white as a ghost.
I do remember that.
I remember
And
that.
then he goes up and goes, "I vote for Kevin McCarthy."
Yep.
And it's almost like they walked in and whispered a name, Phil Davidson. We know what you did with him. But you got to wonder what things in the world would make a man who's probably a pretty, alpha ego, big ego, all this stuff, all of a sudden just crumble in front of your eyes and just relent.
Didn't we just see something this week at the Arizona party there and how they operate?
Right. Yeah. So DeWitt's out there, the chairman, Arizona chairman.
But that's it. I mean, they're just like,
Yeah, that's right.
You got caught bribing, trying to bribe somebody. All right, well, I quit.
Yeah.
But
By the way, it was her fault.
But here's the source for James O'Keefe, and there's the whole video. It's very long, not great audio. It's better to watch than to listen on radio, folks. You can look it up, O'Keefe Media Group. But he says, meet Titus Warren, a Democrat working for Republicans in Congress. These Republicans do not care about Warren's political views or the potential of him tipping off the other side. In fact, Titus states that he loves Nancy Pelosi and believes that Donald Trump needs to die. Still, his employers don't seem to care how he thinks. While Titus says he keeps these details to himself, he is quote-unquote sure that his boss knows his political views, considering the fact that a photo of Nancy Pelosi sits proudly on his desk. Every time I see her or run into each other, sometimes I'll even go into her office, then I'll just go into her candy bowl, said Titus, after confirming that he loves Pelosi and that she loves him. When asked about how Republican constituents might respond to his viewpoints, Titus says if they do care, they can kiss the crack of mine because I don't care. What's worse is that most congressmen in D.C. don't actually think for themselves, but rely on staffers like Titus and their advisors to guide them in decision-making, or they rely on outside influence, such as blackmail, which uses their sexual wrongdoings while serving the American people. Titus was able to provide us with good intel on the inner workings of Congress and how members of both parties are coerced to vote a certain way through what he called suggestion. But these so-called suggestions aren't suggestions at all. They are much more nefarious ways of blackmailing members of Congress who have engaged in affairs on their spouses or downright sex parties with other members, according to Titus. There's a lot of things that I see with my own eyes, they told James O'Keefe. Madison Cawthorn wasn't lying either, said Titus as he explained that most Congress members are married, but they have affairs with other Congress people and they have like parties and stuff. Titus then confirmed that these alleged parties get quote-unquote hot and heavy. Though he said he's never gone to one of these parties or been invited, that's a little bit of a...
Yeah.
Is this guy just kind of dramatic? I don't know. What's the deal here? But I also kind of believe it, especially Madison Cawthorn. The guy said the stuff about D.C., and then they ruined him when he wouldn't apologize. It makes me go, oh, okay, maybe there's something to this. And Madison was the martyr we needed.
Yeah, but I'm still stuck on the fact we got somebody that openly tried to bribe someone not to run, and we're just letting them go with "I quit my job."
Yeah.
Dude, that's the whole problem we have with our system. Is this is your root cause, and you're just going to let him walk away, and no punishment to the party or anything. You just That's the problem. And until we're willing to have honest conversations and hold people accountable, well, we're continue to be screwed.
So, just a little peek inside Washington, D.C. there, more information on how dirty things can get.
It's not just Washington.
Right.
That's the thing. That's hilarious. People always think, or especially with O'Keefe, they're like, oh, nobody would just sit down and tell you all this stuff. It's like, you haven't worked in politics, have you?
A little bit of bragging, huh?
No, it's not just that. It's like these people will talk and talk and talk and flap at the gums and tell you ridiculous stuff.
They want to be able to boast about what they can do now that I'm in power and you can't, but look what I can do.
And nothing will happen. Nothing will happen to them.
Right.
Because they're all part of the same club.
And do you think they're narcissists? Because that would make sense. And speaking as one,
it's certainly a possibility. Every time when we have these discussions, I always wonder, chicken or the egg? Is it are they successful because they're narcissists? Are they political, high up in the political sphere because they're narcissists, or does that level of power just breed a certain level of narcissism? And I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, and it can be a disturbing thing to start to realize that not everybody's brain works the same way. And those are type B personalities. That's sort of Machiavellian, narcissist, psychopathic. If those people tenderize to positions of power because it gives them exactly what they're desiring in terms of their temperament. And it's not just politics, it's in all sorts of places of power. So, even talk radio. But anyway, down at the border, things are heating up. It's going great. It's like they were getting the band back together.
We're sending some barbed wire?
I don't know if we're sending barbed wire, but there are definitely some Alabama National Guard members down there.
Well, I heard that, I don't know if it's just us, but other states too have said, hey, need some barbed wire? We'll send you some barbed wire.
Well, Governor Kay Ivey and 24 other Republican governors announced yesterday their support for Greg Abbott's constitutional right to deter illegal immigration at the southern border. And, all of these folks are saying the court ruled that they could remove razor wire, but they're saying that means that the Texas folks can't be there. And it's like, wait, no, they can still be there. They still put it back, and you can remove it again if you like. But in response to the court ruling, Abbott said on Wednesday the state would continue to place razor wire and that the federal government had, quote, broken the compact between the United States and the states. Woo.
Yep.
That's strong language.
Is it not true?
Here's the statement from Governor Ivey. Quote, President Biden and his administration have left Americans and our country completely vulnerable to unprecedented illegal immigration pouring across the southern border. Instead of upholding the rule of law and securing the border, the Biden administration has attacked and sued Texas for stepping up to protect American citizens from historic levels of illegal immigrants, deadly drugs like fentanyl, and terrorists entering our country, Ivey and other Republicans said on Thursday in a joint statement. We stand in solidarity with our fellow Governor Greg Abbott in the state of Texas in utilizing every tool and strategy, including razor wire fences to secure the border. We do it in part because the Biden administration is refusing to enforce immigration laws already on the books and is illegally allowing mass parole across America of migrants who entered our country illegally. Now, Trump jumped in on this. Did y'all see all the Trump statement? I think it came out on Truth Social.
Yeah, when he was talking about other states sending folks in.
Yeah, here's the statement I'm looking at right now, folks. When I was president, we had the most secure border in history. Joe Biden has surrendered our border and is aiding and abetting a massive invasion of millions of illegal migrants into the United States. Instead of fighting to protect our country from this onslaught, Biden is unbelievably fighting to tie the hands of Governor Abbott in the state of Texas so that the invasion continues unchecked. In the face of this national security, public safety, and public health catastrophe, Texas has rightly invoked the invasion clause of the Constitution and must be given full support to repel the invasion. We encourage all willing states to deploy their guards to Texas, says Trump, to prevent the entry of illegals and to remove them back across the border. All Americans should support the common sense measures by Texas authorities to protect the safety, security, and sovereignty of Texas and the American people. When I am president, on day one, instead of fighting Texas, I will work hand in hand with Governor Abbott and the other border states to stop the invasion, seal the border, and rapidly begin the largest domestic deportation operation in history. Those Biden has let in should not get comfortable because they will be going home. And that is right from the desk of Donald John Trump. And it seems, in terms of the politics, that there's a bit of a coalescing around Trump at this point. Nikki Haley's still holding out. But even Trump told the RNC, like the RNC and Ronna McDaniel were ready to go to just say, Trump's got it. We're not going to keep doing this charade. Trump told them, no, we're going to keep voting. I'm going to show Nikki what she's dealing with.
I think he wants to beat her home.
Yes.
I think he desperately wants to beat her home.
Yep. And she doesn't even have an operation in Nevada, so it's a foregone conclusion for Trump.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she's putting all her eggs there in South Carolina, and I think it's going to be ugly, to put it mildly.
For her.
And do you suspect the powers that be, folks going after Trump, the Democratic Party in particular, that they expected the Republican Party to rally around Trump in this way so quickly?
I think they sort of anticipated that it was going to be another Trump ticket, Trump Biden ticket. I just don't. I don't even think even the Democrats are stupid enough to think that Nikki Haley was going to beat him out in any sort of primary, which isn't. It's simply not going to happen.
Yeah, they were just hoping something in life or whatever would happen with Trump. And
I think they were hoping that Trump would say something catastrophically stupid during this process that they could really latch onto and hammer away with their media arms to try to make it. And he hasn't. He hasn't really said anything.
Really.
They really tried to jump on that dictator comment, and I think people are kind of sick of the shtick.
Yep.
And Sean Hannity, says, wait, you don't want to be a dictator. Only for one day, Sean. I'll be a dictator for the day. I'll close the border.
Right. I enjoyed it.
I would think it was funny if a Democrat said it too, because it's obviously done in jest.
Yeah.
Right.
Because guess what? You can't be a dictator the first day. That's not how dictatorships work, dummies.
Now, did y'all catch, and this came out earlier in the week, Ed Meese is now making the argument, and this is part of this Trump lawfare saga. Ed Meese is making the argument of, was it legal to appoint Jack Smith, a special counsel prosecuting Trump, in the first place? Was special counsel Jack Smith illegally appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland, and his prosecution of former President Trump unlawful? That is the intriguing issue raised in an amicus brief filed in the Supreme Court on behalf of former Attorney General Ed Meese and two law professors. It's the case U.S. v. Trump. We won't get an immediate answer to this question because on the Friday before Christmas, the court issued a one-line order refusing to take up Smith's request that the court review Trump's claim of presidential immunity, which was denied by the trial court, in the federal prosecution being pursued by Smith in the District of Columbia. The special counsel had petitioned the court to take the case on an expedited basis, urging the justices to bypass review by the Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. The Supreme Court may still get the opportunity to consider this issue, though, either on appeal from a ruling on the immunity claim by the D.C. Circuit, or if Trump is convicted and appeals the verdict. The amicus brief raises serious and fundamental issues of whether Garland has the constitutional and statutory authority to appoint Smith as special counsel in the first place. Jack Smith, a private citizen, was appointed as a special counsel by Garland to investigate whether anyone violated the law in efforts to interfere in the lawful transfer of power following the 2020 presidential election or the certification of the Electoral College vote held on January the 6th, 2021. In August of 23, a grand jury directed by Smith indicted Trump. But Meese and the professors argue in this brief that Garland lacked the power to appoint Smith because the Attorney General has no authority to appoint a, quote, private citizen to receive extraordinary criminal law enforcement power under the title of special counsel. First, they point out that there is no federal statute establishing an, quote, office of special counsel in DOJ. Second, even if one ignores the absence of such a specific statute, there is also no statute authorizing the Attorney General, rather than the President, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, to appoint such a special counsel. The special counsel, they note, has more power than any of the 94 U.S. attorneys who prosecute cases around the country. Their authority is limited to the jurisdiction in which they are appointed. Moreover, U.S. attorneys are nominated by the president and have to be approved by the Senate. Yet Jack Smith has nationwide authority to pursue his prosecutions and indeed has indicted Trump in two separate jurisdictions, D.C. and Florida, and was neither nominated by the president nor confirmed by the Senate. This, according to the amicus brief, violates basic constitutional requirements. Wow.
Fascinating.
And I think that's a heck of an argument, right?
I think it's a great argument. I'd love to see that aired out amongst people that actually know what they're talking about.
Right, yeah.
Me not being one of them.
Yeah, no, I'm just sharing it. It kind of makes sense on its face. Here's a quote from the actual brief. There are times when the appointment of a special counsel is appropriate, but federal statutes and the Constitution only allow such appointments through the use of existing United States attorneys. And so they cite appointments as special counsels of Patrick Fitzgerald, Rod Rosenstein, John Huber, and John Durham, all of whom were Senate-confirmed U.S. attorneys at the time of their appointments, as examples of valid and lawful appointments. But what the law and the Constitution do not allow, argues the brief, is for the Attorney General to appoint a private citizen who has never been confirmed by the Senate as a substitute United States attorney under the title special counsel. Under the Appointments Clause, inferior officers can be appointed by department heads only if Congress so directs by statute. And there is no such statute giving the Attorney General such authority to appoint an inferior officer like a special counsel. Well, all right then. Well, we'll see if the court actually takes that up. But the good news is the court is not playing ball with Jack Smith and trying to speed this up before Election Day. So maybe this gets drawn out. And it could be that the jury in all these indictments, the true jury, will be the American people on Election Day in November.
I think you're right, Joey.
Let's go to the phones and talk to Bill. Hey, Bill.
I would say that you made a statement a while ago that I am arguing with.
All right.
The reins of this country were not transferred. The reins to this country were dropped and have been flapping in the wind for the last 3.5 years. There is no way that Joe Biden is holding the reins or is in control of this country. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Joe Biden's a construct. Joe Biden's a puppet. He ain't the one running things right now.
Tommy Tuberville says that any chance he can get.
Yeah. Now, and where I might slightly disagree is the reins were taken over, but it wasn't by Joe. It was by, say, a professional ruling class that propped up Joe.
So here is my question and my argument. If Joe Biden was truly legally elected, then he should be the leader of this country. And he should be the one calling the shots. So if he's not, then it's illegal election because the elected official is not the leader. True or false?
You'd have to start proving some things because the president is allowed to delegate, but I think you would use something like the 25th Amendment to show he's incapacitated, or you would have to show plain as day how he has been essentially manipulated and usurped in his authority and that somebody else is running things. But a president does have the permission to delegate his authority to others under him.
Yeah, but here lately, and I don't know if they're old clips or if they're new clips, the man cannot convey a cognitive thought.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You're right.
His brain is baby food. That's what beyond dispute.
So, and I understand about the delegating powers, but he is an elected official. And as an elected official, he is the one responsible. So, I just don't get it. I was at church the other day. We're doing our 21 days of prayer that we do every year at the first of the year. I got there early, and I was sitting in the sanctuary, and for whatever reason, a thought hit me, and that thought was, how could any true American be against Donald Trump? After suffering through the last 3 years and seeing what's going on in our country, how could anybody that is a true American say anything against Donald Trump?
Well, I mean,
At least,
I'm not
the
a.
guy could,
I apologize. You go right ahead.
now go ahead.
No, I was
wanna
saying.
hear what you say.
Well, I mean, I'm not an American. I'm an Alabamian. But as someone who fancies myself somewhat patriotic, I would say the criticism of what he did during the COVID lockdown come first to mind. The appointments that he made. He was in charge of the lockdown. He launched Operation Warp Speed. All of that. The stuff that we saw during COVID that seems like a horror movie in retrospect, that was all put into place by either Trump himself or leadership that he appointed and failed to remove.
Well, and I understand that, and I agree with it to an extent. But there again, if Joe can delegate power, Donald Trump can't.
Well, he can, and he did so poorly. That's my argument.
Well, yes and no. I mean, he used the people that were in place, and that were in place.
Well, but Bill, there are a lot of folks. There are a lot of folks who are within the administration who were telling Trump, and they've come out and done interviews. Like Peter Navarro comes to mind, who told him multiple times, "Fire Fauci." Mm-hmm. You've made a huge mistake making that guy the point man. I think he also made a mistake making Pence the point guy on the so-called task force. He probably should have picked somebody not in the West Wing who's probably in uniform, is what I would have done.
Yeah.
Now, it could all be hindsight, but Trump made a lot of mistakes during that era, to Craig's point.
Yeah, and just to say, I mean, I would crawl over broken glass to vote for a half-dead puppy, than continue to have Joseph Biden as my president. That being said, I think there are legitimate reasons to question the judgment of Donald Trump, even though he did do some beneficial things, no doubt. There are reasons to doubt his judgment, and I think we'll have to see whether or not he's learned from his mistakes.
Yeah, I'm kind of betting he does. If he makes it that far, I'm not sure he will, but if he makes it that far and he gets to the Oval Office again, I think there's going to be a different Donald Trump in charge. But we'll see. Y'all have a great afternoon.
You too,
Appreciate
Bill.
it,
See you,
Bill.
buddy. Buddy. God willing, in the creek don't rise.
Let's go to Eric the dog.
Hola. What up, dog? What's happening?
Hey, another day in paradise. Hey, Craig, I got a question I want to ask you. I didn't get to ask you yesterday, so I'm going to ask you today.
If you ask me if I was in combat, I'm leaving the room. No, it's all good. What you got for me, buddy?
I was going to say, have you ever seen a grown man naked? I think I'm supposed to ask Joey.
That's from Airplane, right? It's been years. Okay, just making sure. Yeah.
I do have a mirror, and I'm growing all right, not in the right way.
Well, there's no modesty requirements in the shower room in my gym, so unfortunately more than I would like to admit.
Oh, well. Yep. I'm not going to that gym. Well, that'd be embarrassing.
Well, before you keep going, Eric, when did that change? Because I remember when I was a Catholic, we did not take showers naked. We'd often have like compression shorts on. There was one day one of the coaches took a shower completely naked.
Well, Joey, there was a time when there wasn't such a thing as compression shorts. You either took a shower in your tighty-whities or you got butt naked.
Oh, okay.
And since you didn't want to walk around with wet
underwear,
you kind of went with
no, but
butt naked.
like seriously, when did like Eric, you just said I don't want to go to that gym. When did this change happen? Where it was like Like Greg Budell tells stories about swim class in Chicago where they're walking around naked all the time.
Yeah, that's about time it happened. When you were
was the 70s that
uncomfortable guy
crazy?
going, geez, just keep my shorts on if that's
in sports, it's such a crazy thing that's just that happens all the time. When I was in Navy boot camp, it was just like that's literally what happens. Everyone that joins at that same time gets butt naked.
Yeah.
The ladies are somewhere else, and then of course when you shower, you have to do it. And it was a comedian called Tony Hinchcliffe who made the observation. He said not even gay porn actors shower naked with other men. It's like they even have that more dignity than that. Why is this a normal part of just sports?
I'm just imagining somebody. Honey, why do all your old military buddies call you anteater? I don't
In the Navy. Get that guy a hat. I enjoy listening to y'all. Y'all are funny. I was going to tell you that guy that y'all had on that was 2010, that guy that gave the speech.
Yeah.
That reminded me of Chris Farley. I was just waiting for that dude to sing in a van down by the river.
He was pretty excited, man.
I'm going to run the treasury for my man down by the river.
Anybody checked on him lately? Like, someone like that probably doesn't take rejection very well.
I thought you were asking about Chris Farley. I was like, I got some bad news for you, homie.
No, say it ain't so.
What's wrong with cocaine and donuts? I don't understand.
Winning combination in my book.
There you go.
All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.
Appreciate it. Peace.
This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And hey, men, if you're having issues with low testosterone, also potentially experiencing issues in the bedroom like erectile dysfunction, there's also PE, which ain't fun. I'm not talking about physical education, too, back in school. You know what PE is, gentlemen. And if you're experiencing any of that stuff, it's nothing to deny, put off, or be ashamed about. I know guys hate going to the doctor. I do. But
We all do.
Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of guys like us. So if you have no motivation, lack of energy, always tired, perhaps you're seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, even a decrease in your sex drive, or maybe you just feel like you're walking through life in a fog, knowing whether you have low T is huge to combating some of these issues. In fact, urologists are now saying this should be an everyday checkup for men, a testosterone and PSA check, and you should even start getting it done at 18. This is stuff I didn't know until I started talking to the fine folks here at Montgomery Men's Health. A lot of guys suffer from low T and sometimes don't even realize it. They don't even know it, but it does affect quality of life big time. So the providers at Montgomery Men's Health can conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health, low T treatments, if you do in fact have low T, that can truly change your life. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Joey.
You can actually book on the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. That number for Montgomery Men's Health, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com and be sure to tell them you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Let's hit a break.
All right.
We'll be back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey, Montgomery drivers, why aren't you driving a new Toyota yet? Drive the Best for Less event at Toyota of Montgomery, where we make it easy to drive the best, safest, and most reliable cars on the road. Come in today and drive the best, like the new 2024 Toyota Camry LE, now only $299 a month. Or take over the road in the best-selling new 2024 RAV4 LE. It's only $349 a month. And Toyota of Montgomery makes it easy to upgrade your old vehicle by giving you more for your trade. So what are you waiting on, Montgomery? Drive the best for less before these offers end on January 31st at Toyota of Montgomery today. Online at ToyotaMontgomery.com, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
Camry MSRP $30,958. RAV4 MSRP $28,214. 12,000 miles per year for 39-month leases with $3,638 to assign. Zero security deposit with approved credit plus tax, tag, title, and $995 doc fee.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you think it's safe using all these extension cords?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Actually, too many extension cords can be dangerous. Call Crosby Electric to add new outlets.
Sure is dark in our yard.
Good. We'll sleep better.
Maybe you will.
Crosby Electric does landscaping lighting for beauty and safety, as well as security lighting for peace of mind.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn.
Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the river region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Oh, come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. You know, just give him a call.
Full house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric 272-2085 or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back, folks. The news and views in the afternoon. 272-9228. If you want to get in on the program, that's 272-9228. And I kind of want to take a breath here. So what we're going to do is go to one of my favorite folks that does an update on the economy, a guy by the name of Peter St. Onge. And Peter's always putting out fantastic content, in my humble opinion. And one thing I noticed, the headlines this week were like, look at these GDP numbers, like 3.9. We popped a big GDP number. Nobody expected that. And you constantly are seeing headlines like that, again, where you're just malcontents. Everything's fine. It's not like, the worst home sales in 28 years.
Right.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with anything. Hey, how are people going to be made whole after you've ripped them off through inflation and taxation? Inflation sometimes to the tune of 30%.
At least.
Give me a break. But, we've really gotten out of the woods here on this economy. Kind of leaves, in particular, the little guy fleeced and milked like we were talking about yesterday. So here's Peter St. Onge to give some perspective. The name of this clip here, this little segment, is 2.7 trillion debt drives spectacular GDP. Oh, Well, take it away, Peter. Yeah, hold on. I got a shirt on the stream. Sorry, folks that are out there watching. I didn't add that. Take it away, Peter.
In fact, if we control for federal spending, the private economy actually shrunk a lot. Another couple blowout reports like this, and Americans will be living under an overpass. First, the numbers. The Bureau of Economic Analysis reported GDP for the fourth quarter came in at 3.3% annualized, which blew away estimates of 2.0. And it brought growth for all of last year to 2.5%, which is a very healthy number on paper. Note, the numbers are preliminary, so they're subject to revision. Still, the regime media rolled out their finest adjectives. CNN called it shocking in a good way. The New York Times called it stunning and spectacular. So what's the problem? Debt. Your grandkids bought all of that and then some. To see why, in the past 12 months, the federal deficit increased by $1.3 trillion. Yet we only got half that in additional GDP. In other words, everything else shrank. It's even worse for that brave and stunning Q4. There we got just $300 billion in extra GDP for, wait for it, $834 billion of new federal debt. Remember that GDP is not measuring wealth, it is measuring spending, so production which is sold. Now, mainstream media, including mainstream economics, pretends that GDP is wealth. So you'll see articles celebrating GDP as prosperity. And that's close enough when it's private firms or individuals producing more to sell more. That indeed is a very good proxy for the country getting richer. Right. But it's actually the opposite when it's the government spending, because government's job is to take perfectly good wealth and light it on fire.
Yep.
That means that when GDP is growing from government spending, it is not measuring wealth, it is measuring dissipation of wealth. Essentially, the pace at which we're going Soviet, replacing private wealth with government waste. So translating that brave and stunning GDP into the real world, we are destroying wealth at rates not seen since 2008, papered over by government deficits. This actually lines up with what we've seen in jobs. In a recent video, I mentioned that over half the jobs last year were actually government and government-related social service jobs. That's jobs created. In some states, it was literally more than all the jobs created. In other words, the private sector is actually shrinking.
Wow.
All those government jobs, of course, are unproductive. They're not making us more prosperous as a society. On the contrary, they're taking wealth earned from productive activities and squandering them on vote buying or worse. So just think of the wealth destruction footprint of a single EPA bureaucrat. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. The lapdog media will keep playing along with the government statisticians and the gaslighting academics. They'll keep trashing regular Americans for posting our grocery bills and mortgage payments, praying they can maintain the illusion long enough for the next election. Fortunately, there are millions of us who can see the emperor is buck naked. Read the whole article with charts and all at profsaintange.com. Okay, we'll be watching.
Again, that's Peter St. Ange, and I always say this, but I miss the guy. I used to go to this thing called Anarchy in Auburn with a bunch of Mises Institute folks, and he was there. He was a fellow there at the Mises Institute, and what a life that guy has led. Really crazy life. I think he ran and owned a nightclub in D.C. for a while.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
And he was in on the know.
Yeah, and he's very good. He's made quite a bit of money, I believe, in the stock market and trading securities. He's an Austrian economist, and I think his perspective on the larger economy, what's going on, the long-term trends are spot on. He's essentially claiming, if you've heard other segments, that we're replaying the 1970s. So about halfway through the 70s, it's like, we whooped this inflation thing. Everything's fine.
Right.
And then it came back with a incredible vengeance to where Volcker had to put rates at 17, 18, 20%. Whew. Broke the back of inflation, broke the back of a lot of people in that process. But sometimes, life requires a little bit of pain. What is this idea that you can have enough government to where there'll be no tears? Like everybody will be all right. All suffering will be alleviated.
What happened to the idea the government wouldn't cause me pain? That's the kind of government I thought I was electing.
Well, are you feeling the pain?
Oh, yeah.
How?
Well, right now, I don't know if you just mentioned home sales, and that's what I do for a living.
People have asked me, like, where's Eddie today? And I'm like, did you see the Wall Street Journal headline?
Right. Eddie's out there hustling.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we're feeling it in this market,
No doubt.
but it's not quite. It's really bad in your more urban centers, right? Yeah.
And the biggest thing, it's common sense to me. And we talk about it all the time. If I'm in a home and I've got a 3% interest rate, I like my house. It's a great house. I would like to expand. My wife and I would like a little more room, but my rate's 6%. So I'm going to double my rate. I already know I'm going to pay a premium because real estate's at a premium too. So you're kind of double wedging me. You know what? I'll just sit here. And unfortunately, a lot of people are mistaken. They're like, the rates are going to come back down to 3%. They're giving away money soon.
Well,
it's not going to happen.
And aren't there also a lot of boomers, older boomers, who are sitting in way too much home? Like
Certainly.
They could probably downsize and life would be, in fact, they're paying too much for overhead and all these other things.
A lot of people like that.
But they don't want to sell in the current market.
That's
they want
their comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people, and I get it, man, especially as I get older. I don't know. If I was in my mid-60s or older, I don't know if I'd be so crazy about, even though it'd be downsizing, I don't want my world rocked like that. I like the world I'm in.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
Howdy. I hate to be the one that has to speak up for Trump about every single thing.
Don't watch out for Craig Munger. You get in a fight with him, you might hang up.
I'm telling you, man.
Papa B, I love you in advance.
But look, I mean, somebody has to say something, okay? Okay, so the argument is, Trump allowed this whole COVID thing to go on. Is that right? Is that where I'm getting at there? Or what y'all were getting at, or somebody?
I mean, I would quibble with the way you phrased it, but I think we're on the same page, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, all right, so we kind of, we can armchair quarterback this thing now. I mean, prior to the play's over with, we can sit there and look at the replay all day long and say, oh, he should have done this, oh, he should have done that. The people that really want to bring some sort of issue about that on Trump, I would say, well, what would you have done, Einstein?
Is that an actual question?
Well, I
would have brought. I would have taken away Fauci's job and given it to Peter McCullough. That's number one.
Okay.
Right.
I would have taken away. I would have made Douglas MacArthur my Secretary of Defense. I would have made Ron Paul Secretary of the Treasury. I mean, any of these things, any of these bulwarks against the nonsense going on in Washington that have been around for decades, that know more than anyone about these processes and where the pitfalls are. He could have put any of them in power, and he didn't.
Well, and Papa B, I think in those very early days, as it goes from 2019 to 2020, the White House is already hearing about this going on, and they're trying to figure it out. And I somewhat give a pass on those very, very early days as things are coming around. But very quickly, you had an alternative to the Fauci and Dr. Birx's approach, with the lockdowns and the forced human separation 6 feet apart and the mask and all this stuff. You had the Great Barrington Declaration with Jay Bhattacharya and Martin Kulldorff, I think Dr. Gupta of Oxford. And they essentially had a great plan, and it's the plan Sweden, of all places, followed. And I think the criticism is there were people in Trump's ear in real time telling him you're making these mistakes, and Trump stuck with the band he was going with. Right. Now, does that completely disqualify?
You got all that out. Now, let me put in something.
All right.
Okay. All right. What would have happened? Can you imagine the political blowback that he would have come down on him for taking Fauci, the patron saint of, the medical industry, really, or the medical community in this country, out and replacing him with somebody else? People do the best they can with the cards they're dealt sometimes.
Because he's been so politically venerated in the meantime. Like, I mean, it's not like he's Mother Teresa of the political world for keeping him there. People still hate him. So make a good choice and get hated rather than getting hated while making bad choices.
Yeah, you're gonna try to, like, again, we're armchair quarterbacking this thing. Sometimes you have to do the best you can with what you're dealt with what you got. And taking Fauci out, for instance, would have been a political death knell. I mean, that's how bad it would be. Okay.
Yeah, but
He
it turned
could not-
out the way that his approach also turned out to be a political
Right.
death knell in a large way.
Well,
And
we can argue about, well, it could have been this, could have been that.
Right.
I'm telling you, that, when you make those kind of big changes like that, as a president, you gotta kind of get a broader view. In fact, Trump did try to tell people, "Oh, look, what about hydroxychloroquine?" For which he was roundly, just crucified.
Well, and that's another one of his
Trump
mistakes.
was
It shouldn't have been from Trump every day at a press conference. And I'm not saying any of this, in my humble opinion, disqualifies him. And I think this also helps show our point we're making, but it also plays into why I think the regime really fears Trump now, why folks are rallying around Trump, is that I think Trump would admit when he first got in, I'm talking 2016, he made a lot of mistakes in terms of hiring. He didn't understand D.C. He didn't have the number of people to staff up, so he relied on the RNC. And I think if you ask Trump now, he would admit that, and he's going to put in very different people and have a very different approach. And that's why the folks in charge of D.C. and the donor class, propping up Nikki Haley and Biden, they're crapping their pants right now, how popular this guy is.
I'm gonna just pose one other thing to you here, and that is, no matter which direction Trump went, it would have been the wrong direction for somebody, and a lot of somebodies. In fact, the somebodies that it would have been the wrong direction for are the same somebodies that it would have been the wrong direction for had he taken the other route.
That's just not the case. His base is the one that's dissatisfied with what he did during Operation Warp Speed and the COVID pandemic. The people that always hated him still hated him. Now the problem is that people that really loved him and supported him felt betrayed by him whenever they couldn't go to the park or they couldn't go to a beach or they couldn't do any of these things that they were forbade from doing because of the recommendations from Anthony Fauci that weren't based on science, that were disingenuous and political.
I think all of the Republican Party had decided to go with whatever Anthony Fauci laid down.
And they were stupid for doing that too.
Anybody anytime said something that was, out of the box, for instance, when he mentioned hydroxychloroquine, the whole organization, the whole Washington, D.C. came down, all of the medical. He couldn't get any traction with anybody in the media or anywhere else. Sometimes people just have to go through bad things before they understand how bad it really is.
Well, and here's
may or may not have known all of that.
Right.
Had he known it and didn't tell us, well, that would be one thing. Maybe he was just going with the best that he knew to go by too.
Well, and all this at this point, Papa B, is academic, because I think the person who already made this argument in public, much more powerful than any of us in this conversation now, was Ron DeSantis. And DeSantis did not get the traction. And everybody's rallying around Trump.
Yeah.
And by the way, Trump did not make a mistake with the whole Walter Reed saga. When Trump got COVID, he does the little trip in the Beast. You remember when he came back on Marine One, he walks up the stairs and he takes off the mask, and CNN's in real time, oh my God, he's taking off the mask, and he salutes. And then he immediately turns around to a camera and goes, I took the Regeneron. And it was a lot of fun in the midst of a dark time.
Oh, yeah.
All right, lots of fun to talk about. But, we just got to go with what we've got here. And I think Trump is the best choice right now. Armchair quarterback and Duck Hill. Anyway, all right, guys, thanks a lot.
Appreciate the call.
There are entire news networks dedicated to armchair quarterbacking. What's wrong with armchair quarterbacking?
Well, and also, again, you got to talk these things out. You get to the truth not by sitting there and going, I know everything.
And not by hanging up in the middle of a conversation.
Well, sometimes it's necessary.
Sometimes
it's necessary, Craig.
Yeah.
But
thanks for not hanging up, Papa B. Mwah.
Oh, he ain't gonna hang up.
No, good. I like that. See, that's important conversations to have.
Oh yeah.
Because again, everything in the aftermath, you have to analyze decisions. And like, does these series of decisions, do they demonstrate poor decision making in any specific sphere?
I remember, I thought I was skeptical, but I found myself at the beginning of the pandemic, and then folks like Dr. Drew Pinsky saying, no, Fauci's kind of the gold standard. Listen to him. He actually is a smart guy. And man, were we wrong.
Yeah, but people pointed out, look at Fauci's past. Look at how he did with AIDS. And everybody ignored that.
Yeah.
He was wrong, just like Biden. He's been wrong. Just because you got a government job and you haven't been canned yet doesn't mean you're right about it.
But the thing is, the people in those positions, they're not there because they're the best for the job. That's the way that it should be.
Good point. Right.
The people that are in these high positions of power are there because they kiss butt the best.
Good point.
And name anyone who's ever worked in a company with any sort of hierarchical structure. That is the case. It is not often, usually not the case that the most qualified person is at the top. It's the biggest, you know what, kisser.
Well,
I
we got it.
like I got promoted because I knew what I was doing.
Not
You're
in
making me
your case,
rethink
Eddie.
my whole
Sorry,
career
Eduardo.
here.
Guys, we got to hit a break here. Hopefully, we'll have Michael Cohen on the other side.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Love is in the air and on the boat, the Harriet 2 riverboat, that is. Bring your special someone for a romantic evening and experience the elegance of cruising the Alabama River. Enjoy a delicious dinner while taking in the stunning sights. Dance the night away to the tunes that touch your soul, or just sit back and relax. Roses and champagne complete your lover's evening. You have 4 nights to choose from, February 14th, 15th, 16th, or 17th. Book your Valentine's cruise at funinmontgomery.com.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Michael, how are you today?
Hey, Joey, I'm great. How are y'all?
Oh, we're surviving. I think that's the word, Eddie, right?
That's right.
Yeah, surviving.
It's Friday.
Yeah, we're almost there.
A little bit longer.
Yeah, almost there. So I want to go back to these, what you've mentioned it before in terms of your seating options, these captain's chairs. You really have my interest on these. Let's describe those again.
So, to me, it takes up hardly any real estate, but they're captain's chairs. They swivel 360 degrees. They come with ottomans. They come with a little lever where you sit that you can pull that lever back and you can lean back and then it reclines. And once it's reclined, you can pull it forward and lean forward and then it comes back upright. But they make them in 2 styles. It's all about really how the chair fits you. Because what fits you may not fit Eddie.
Right.
There's no right or wrong. It's just what feels more comfortable to you. but I can order them in probably 50 or 60 different shades of leather.
Wow.
Some people we've actually ordered some out of fabric. So, whatever goes with your decor, I'm sure we have a solution for. But the cool thing is that they take up no room.
Oh.
And they're very, very comfortable.
Well, I kind of want to get one now. I'll figure out my situation where I'm currently living, but I would encourage folks to go by and don't just take your word for it. Go sit in one of these things. They're freaking
right.
awesome.
That's the best thing. But everybody that sits in them tells everybody how comfortable. And some people are programmed that they need to have a recliner that's motorized, or they need this or that. But I'm amazed at how many people come in here and they end up with a couple of theater seats. And then the wife says, well, I'd like this for me because it's smaller, it fits her better, kind of hugs her, and they just do an incredible job.
Well, folks, if you want to learn more about that or all the great products, all the electronics and appliances there at Cohen's, you can always go to thinkcohens.com or call them at 277-8890. But I really encourage you to stop by. 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. Open 9 to 6 today.
Yes, sir. 9 to 4 on Saturdays, and just come by and just cruise the store and see what you like, and let us answer some questions.
Well, I appreciate the time as always, Michael.
Thank y'all. Have a great weekend.
You too, sir. Final hour of news and views in the afternoon. Well, after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Georgia State Senate creating a special committee to investigate Fulton County District Attorney Faunie Willis. That panel was approved by a 30-19 vote. Republican senators say the panel is needed to determine whether the Democratic district attorney misspent state tax money in her prosecution of former President Donald Trump and others. U.S. auto safety regulators have closed an investigation into complaints that the doors on some Ford Escapes can open while the SUVs are being driven without seeking a recall. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says there is a low potential hazard to drivers. The investigation covered about 500,000 Escape SUVs from the 2020 and 2021 model years. This is SRN News.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Hi, everybody. This amazing weather pattern continues. Wetter than normal, stormy at times, and very spring-like. Flash flood watch continues in effect through Saturday. Another round of showers and storms again today. Locally heavy tropical downpours with a high in the lower 70s, low tonight in the low 60s. Saturday, a stronger system. It's the last one in the series with showers and thunderstorms. Rainfall could be heavy. Some storms possibly strong, maybe severe. Saturday's high 73, low Saturday night 50, and then a cooler, drier air mass overspreads the area on Sunday with highs in the mid-50s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
The Alabama Department of Labor reports that there were 80,000 job postings online in the month of December alone. The job demand is very high in retail, fast food, trucking, and healthcare. Tara Hutchinson is with the Alabama Department of Labor, and she spoke with WSFA News.
The healthcare profession is really hot right now, especially those registered nurses.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
An elderly man in Walker County is recovering after being beaten and strangled on January 19th. Police have now arrested his own daughter, 55-year-old Alicia Ernest, and her husband, 49-year-old Michael Ernest. Authorities say the beating occurred after the daughter and her husband approached the man asking for money, and he refused. Both Ernests are now facing first-degree elder abuse, among other charges. A Mobile man has taken his own life after being charged with murder that occurred in February of 2023. Daniel Holloway Jr. was scheduled to have a court hearing this week regarding the shooting that occurred at a beauty store in Semmes. 20-year-old Zykorian Harris died as a result of that shooting. Authorities say that Holloway died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound before that hearing could occur. And former White House advisor to Donald Trump, Kellyanne Conway, will be the keynote speaker at the Alabama Republican Party annual dinner, which will be held in Birmingham, February 9th. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Conservative Justice Sarah Stewart has the experience to lead Alabama's courts. As a tough-on-crime judge, Sarah Stewart presided over hundreds of cases, giving tough sentences to the worst criminals. Republicans can trust Justice Sarah Stewart to defend the Constitution and protect our families. On March 5th, vote conservative Republican Sarah Stewart for Alabama Chief Justice. Paid for by Sarah Stewart Campaign, 2029B, Airport Boulevard, Mobile, Alabama, 36606.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. (272-9228) if you want to join the program. I'm Joey. Eddie's in the house.
In the house.
And you're going to be hosting Happy Hour.
Yep, this afternoon.
You ready?
Yeah, I think so. And Jay Quellen's coming in, too. She's going to co-host with me. So we're going to have Sky, Jay Quellen, and, of course, the lovely Rosie.
Rosie's, she's too good for us. That's not a knock on her. I'm like, we don't deserve her.
We don't deserve her. But not only that, the greatest thing about Rosie, and the first time I think I ever did a show with everybody, and it was Rosie, she is the one who keeps track of time. We can run our mouth, we can do whatever we want to do. Rosie sends a signal, and I know, okay, we're going to a break.
There you go.
Very comfortable knowing she's here.
And, of course, we also have Craig Monger of 1819 News in the studio.
Yeah.
How you doing, Craig?
I am dying of existential agony.
Now, were you ever, all the things you've tried in life, have you, you don't know what I'm about to say.
I do know what you're about to say, I think.
No, have you ever been addicted to nicotine?
I currently am.
You currently are?
I'm currently addicted to nicotine.
How do you ingest it?
I both use a vaporizing pen, which is the less douchey way of saying a vape, and I also use the Zen packets.
Okay, and I'm looking at a picture here of Coach Tuberville holding a Zen packet.
Yeah.
And I'm sure folks have caught a peek on the stream that I don't use Zen, but I use the On brand.
The poor man's Zen.
That's what I
See, I like this better because this has a little compartment. Like with Zen, if you're done with it and you don't have a trash can, where do you put it?
You litter
swallow it
like an American.
Yeah, this has a little compartment where you can get rid of your. See, but these are dusty.
You
Apparently,
like things with extra compartments like that.
Yeah, I do.
With the ons,
Here, let me show you on me.
with the ons, there is that like cake of dust.
Yeah.
that gets on the lid for some reason.
And I'm kind of learned to like it.
If you lick it, you'll.
No, don't do that. No, and what I found is nicotine, and I guess would lean on Dr. Huberman for this. But nicotine itself ain't bad for you.
No,
No,
it's actually
that's
quite
what I
good.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you do too much nicotine all at once, that can up blood pressure, that can cause some problems.
That would make sense.
And the delivery methods historically of nicotine have been pretty bad for you.
Yeah.
But these little pouches, it's a heck of a lot better than dipping. But in politics, I guess everything is a binary choice. Like evil or good. There's no trade-offs. There's no better or worse, apparently. Except when it's to, feather the nest of the politicians and deflect from any sort of criticism.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the good, yeah.
Right. So why is Coach Tuberville holding a Zen packet in this story I saw you write up?
Well, that's because the fearless majority leader of the United States Senate has decided that the pressing, just absolutely pivotal issue of our times is the fact that people are using Zen. Dun dun.
And didn't he use the classic line of they're marketing to children?
Yeah, they're marketing to children. Think of the children.
I think
How are they marketing it to children?
Yeah, because
They do the opposite, actually. You
Thank
have, to,
you.
you have to show ID to enter their website. Ask me how I know.
Okay.
How do you know?
My jokes are better when you don't have to explain it, bro. But yeah, if you want to order them online or even just go to the Zen website at all, you have to give proof of age, and they're just simply not. And they weren't. By the way, they weren't advertising vapes to children either. That's the big thing. They're like
Right.
they put funny they put childlike advertising like fruits, and they give them fun names. It's like that's called branding, you
Thank you.
dummy.
And I've got citrus on.
Yes.
And I like the citrus Zen. The cinnamon ain't bad either.
I'm a citrus guy too.
I tried the coffee.
It tastes like mud water.
Coffee?
Yeah, it's a little too, at first it's kind of nice and then it gets bad quick in my humble opinion. But they have spearmint, wintergreen, these sorts of things.
Tuberville himself prefers cool mint.
Cool.
Now his communications lady, when I asked a very specific question on if he actually used it, did not give me a good answer. She just said he held up a cool mint.
Here,
can.
hold on. I'm
That
gonna
Cool Mint, is that
mute
like
the mics and ask you who you're talking about. Okay, yeah. I'll text her. Be like, come on.
That cool mint, is that like the menthol of the Zens?
No, it's like it's almost like, remember when you used to have the spearmint and then what was the other kind of mint in
Wintergreen.
Wintergreen. So there's wintergreen, but the cool mint is like a spearmint.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. The wintergreen's a little, though I used to do grizzly long cut
Yeah,
wintergreen.
weren't you the dipper?
And of all the things I got hooked on, well, it first started when I'm working Parks and Rec here in Montgomery.
Yeah.
And there's one guy in the truck named Terrell. Terrell was a great football player at Troy. He was making money working at the city. The football career got up in it. He got hurt somehow. And he was teaching himself to embroider and redo, like in particular cars, vehicles.
Oh, that's cool.
Redo upholstery and all that.
Good money in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was very talented. He showed me some of the sample stuff he was doing. And the reason I know all this is because we would take a break. Well, we were always taking a break working at Parks and Rec.
Thank you. Hello.
Isn't that a break in and of itself, working at Parks and Rec?
I can get more into that. Where but we would have these breaks where Terrell liked Black and Miles. I'm like, well, join in. I'm going to join the club because they smell good and they don't taste that good, in my humble opinion.
Good thing he
but
didn't
it started
have,
with Black
heroin.
and Miles.
If you were that easily, oh, that dude looks cool. Smoking that Black and Mild. Let me get one of them. Glad he wasn't shooting up.
Is Parks and Rec hiring?
And then it went to in college Chew, like Red Man Golden Bloom.
Oh, the big. Yeah.
I was a Kodiak wintergreen guy myself.
Oh,
You can't find it that easily. It's not ubiquitous anymore.
When we dipped, and it was a long time ago, Hawkins was the dip.
Hawkins.
And it was like, it was more sweet than anything.
Well, and it got so bad where I'm like, just give me like Copenhagen straight.
Oh, that's awful.
You know, like,
I'm a Gold Top guy.
You got y'all are men's.
But then you realize, and I know there's some folks still in the legislature do it, especially guys a little older than us that are sticking to their dip, and you're kind of in it at this point when you're in your 40s and 50s. But will say it's gross. Like I liked it, I was addicted to it, but I knew it was gross having a spit cup everywhere.
The remnant, what you have to do to enjoy it is rather gross.
Now, what if you had a lady and she dipped? How would you feel?
No way, no how, no sir,
right?
no.
Tell me more about this, bro.
9.
I think actually, I know there's some out there that put a little dip in there. Not much, not like a guy where, a guy likes to stuff it as much as they can.
Right.
They'll put a little bit in there. And they're country girls.
Well, and then I went from the long cut to the grizzly pouches. And apparently that's what a lot of seals like using for like base jumping and whatnot. And yeah, because the actual loose stuff would get up in you as you're jumping out of a plane.
It is. You do have to. There's a technique to it, but it is kind of annoying whenever it starts to run away from you a little bit. Yeah, the pouches were nice.
And so to have this in the world, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper than the Nicorette stuff.
Yeah, and that's something that Tucker Carlson used to back in the day. He'd say, "Yeah, I wear a couple Nicorette patches."
No, well, Tucker will talk about the splendors of Zen anytime he's asked.
Yeah,
he's a big
he was talking about it the other night
in
Canada. Yeah.
So, and Schumer just was like, we have to go against this stuff of all things.
Why?
He also mentioned
missing?
menthol cigarettes too. It's like, again, we're going with the menthol cigarettes.
Really?
That's the cool of cool cigarettes, man.
Menthol's really? He ain't funky at all.
No, he ain't.
What are some classic menthol cigarettes?
Cools, Pall Malls.
Pall Mall, yeah.
Oh, and the biggest one, Newport.
Newport. That's exactly right. I seen a birthday cake one time.
Newports are not bad.
I seen a birthday cake that was a Newport.
And back to that Huberman guy, he says nicotine long run effects. You can do too much at once.
Yeah.
But if you do it right dose, over time it helps with, of course, in the moment, mental clarity.
Yes.
It's an upper. That and caffeine are huge for working folks. And then
I don't do caffeine.
You don't do caffeine.
No.
I'm trying to cut back slowly.
It's easier than you think.
I'm getting there. It was bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm drinking green tea here, so there's like a little bit, but I'm talking, I would go through a pot or more of coffee a day and then a pre-workout. So I was full on with the caffeine. And
there's a suggestion, though, that nicotine over the long run helps with things to hold back things like Alzheimer.
Yep, absolutely. And you have to think about it when, you see it an increased rate of Alzheimer's whenever nicotine ingestion became less in vogue. It's interesting. And think about, name a brilliant person that you know that didn't use nicotine. I'll wait. It's good for the brain. I'll proclaim that till the day I die. Yeah, it's a vasoconstrictor, and I don't use it before I go to the gym, which is the first thing in the morning. Between when I wake up and whenever I go to the gym, between those times, I don't ingest nicotine. After that, it's game on.
No, I've usually got one in at the gym. It's not probably wise.
I still go to the gym.
Yeah, you still
skip that whole thing.
Just don't go to the gym?
Nah.
Oh.
Nah.
I see how it is.
54 years old. What am I going to go to the gym
for? Feel better?
So you don't fall apart in another 10?
I just saw you limping, and I asked you what's wrong, and you said I'm
get
just
the blood
old.
going. It just takes a minute to get warmed up. I'm 54. It's been a rough life. I'm not trying to make it to my mid-70s.
Do you want to make it to your mid-60s in a wheelchair and a walker?
No, I won't go that long.
Look at RFK. Have you ever seen RFK?
Yeah, man.
70 years old.
Right. I ain't got time for all that.
Come on. I believe in you. I'll train you. I'll train you for free.
Okay.
You'll be
I'll
a free
meet you there
client.
tomorrow.
Okay. I get there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
All right. I'll be there at 6:01.
All right.
Yep, and one thing I loved from years bygone when I did a tour of the Congress, and they take you to the old House buildings.
Yeah.
Next to every seat in the Congress was a spittoon. And I'm like, yeah, men. Gotta like men.
Now, what about, again, the ladies? You're not so infatuated with them when they got a big old dip in?
No, go for it. Like if Kirsten Sinema wants if Katie Britt wants to throw
it's
go
gross
ahead,
enough.
Katie.
Like men spit, and that's kind of gross. But you sat in traffic before, and you
Apparently-
look over and some lady has to hawk one out.
Apparently, my great grandmother did that stuff.
Dude,
Snuff, very popular back then.
Yeah, snuff. I've actually done it. It feels horrible, and I've
Really?
snorted a lot of stuff.
That was the
and
worst?
That was the worst.
And she would cheat at spades, and everybody knew it, but wouldn't tell her.
I've got a funny. Speaking of the hawking in China, everyone hawks.
Oh, yeah, same
men,
in
women,
Turkey.
everything. So you just be walking down the street, and there's just
That's it,
some
man.
little old lady
Dodge City. Yeah.
Oh,
It's Dodge City, dude.
everywhere.
Yep.
And
Hawking
also
to hawking.
in the legislature, when we had our long day that went past midnight into the next day, when we were waiting, it was all about 11:30 at night. We're all just sitting in there. One of the lawmakers comes in. I'm not going to say which one. And the House of Representatives comes in to our media fishbowl, and he's sitting there just flinging his can, tapping it. And he looked like he was having a grand old time, and he threw in just a big old wad, and with a big old smile on his face, walked by and spit it right in someone else's trash can. And I was just like, we would be, oh man.
Yep.
Well, and it's kind of an old school thing. You think about the old Congress, like before the Civil War. It's like that's where
They
all.
have Big O Chew in.
And speaking of that, did y'all see the Babylon Bee headline? And the picture made the headline where it says Ted Cruz decides to style his beard into mutton chops as Civil War impending.
And he retweeted that. He said, true story.
Because the beard plays with Cruz. I think
It
Cruz
really
would have
does.
done better in 2016
Yeah, it
if he
really
had a
does.
beard.
He's immensely unlikable, like personally, but I mean, he says some funny things every now and again.
When I'm pulling him up on the stream here, yeah, there he is. It's a press conference. He went crazy yesterday about this whole border thing. We could play it, but the beard plays. He looks.
It does. It looks good on him.
Yeah. Remember when everyone had a beard and maybe smoked a pipe or a cigar?
Right.
I wish the state house was just full of pipe smoke. That would make my life better.
I find that stuff pleasant.
I think that would cause their insurance to go up.
Probably. I smoke pipes all the time. I have like 5 or 6 at the house that I cycle through. It's the best smelling. It's a bit like Black and
tobacco
Mild.
smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Black and Milds where they smell better than they taste, but pipe tobacco actually does taste quite nice.
So it's just like, hey, Chuck Schumer, leave us alone, man.
He's just trying to get his cut.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You know
right.
that's what it is.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but it's not exactly like it's not big tobacco that owns in either. Philip Morris owns
That's
in.
what I was going to ask you.
So
who
it's like,
actually owns it, yeah.
I don't know who would be in his pocket trying to get him out of Zen. I don't know, maybe the On people.
They got a new product that I ain't getting the cut out of. So
whenever they start mentioning specific brands, you have to know that there's someone way up the chain of command that's in someone's pocket. And, you know, it's a whole lot of.
Yep.
And those white nationalists like Tucker Carlson and Tommy Tuberville use in.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone there. He might still. You just gave him a good idea.
It'll be like when John Kennedy makes fun of them for soy latte drinking, avocado toast eating. Yeah, so they
I've yet
it
to
sucks.
see someone actually eat avocado toast. I know it's a way to make fun of Zoomers, but I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it on the restaurant menu. But
I've seen it at First Watch.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
never
That's
get
just
it.
what I'm thinking,
Is
yeah.
it avocados on toast, or do they
I think
make
it's a
toast?
slice of avocado on
Or, no, it's kind of, it's not like a full on guacamole, but it's sort of
guacamole
dressed up. I
Well, what's
think.
wrong with avocado? It's really good for you.
It is.
I like it.
Don't make fun
And the guacamole.
of all the things you can make fun of Gen Xers and Zoomers for. Their choice of a very good healthy fat
Yeah, but it
source
just
isn't
kind
the
of
one.
makes you think of them as a little soft. The avocado.
Soft avocados are soft.
yeah.
They're very soft.
Yeah, and tasty.
Hey, do you moisturize?
No, just sweat.
Just seeing if you're soft.
I moisturize when I'm during in session, but it's actually not. I have it actually
Wait,
in my
wait,
bag
what?
right now.
During what?
It's during session, during the legislative
Oh,
session.
okay.
So I
Okay.
have a
Didn't know what
bottle
that
of
meant.
lotion because there's one particular reporter that smells like an open grave, and
Ooh.
I have to put it on my hands and then wipe it under my nose to
Oh, that's
ensure
awful.
his presence.
Awful. I just thought maybe you're ashy, and that's why you.
No. I used to get ashy when I was like
On the
in my
elbow?
teen. Yeah, in the elbow when I was a teen. It's like, what the heck is going on
Yeah,
here?
if you don't use lotion, you're ashy. Maybe you just can't see it.
Just run your fingernails down your arm.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
check
that's
it.
awful. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that was one of the slurs the Black Student Union at Auburn came up with. Ashy, but you can't see it. I'm like, that's
that's a
pretty
pretty
damn
good one.
funny. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone
had
should
some
be
really weak
moisturizing.
ones.
Get some La Roche-Posay. It's very good for you.
Let's go to Randall. Hey, Randall.
What's up,
Hey,
Randall?
What's going on, fellas? And that's a simple little thing. Hey, that's a simple little thing that was on, fellas. That they just trying to divert the attention. It's where you can go look up that Tommy didn't go put no money on these folks in the stock market. You know, he's in hot water about that, man. You know, he's number 2 in the whole out of all of Congress as far as making money on the stock market.
I don't think that's an old number. I think Randall. He's still on the list, but he's way down the list now.
I mean, this came from 1819 now.
Yeah, but when the most recent one I saw, he got like a 17% return, which is pretty damn good. Like he beat the market quite well, but it wasn't what it was a year or two ago.
I mean, back when I was talking, first brought it up, but yeah, I guess they kind of just brought it up maybe in passing. But it was supposed to be number 2 in the state anyway. This was 2 weeks ago. But like I didn't know that was, you thought it might be to divert attention off of that. But the take up for Craig and all the people who see Donald Trump for what's happening, he's controlled opposition. The man has been planning this since before the 80s. He was on Oprah talking about that we were not ready for him. Like, he knew what to do when he got there. Like, they're not, like, You know what I mean? It wasn't time for him to get in there. You know what I mean? The corruption, we didn't. You know what I mean? The people wasn't ready. And but when he did make it, you know what I mean? He was just going to change America right there and there. I mean, he's been playing since 1980. You can't say that man got there and got squandered. He is not that. You then say he's a genius. On the other hand, and then believe that, you know what I mean, that we get this is all a plan, but that they're gonna let one person, one full-blooded human, mess up their plan. I mean, it don't work though. You can't. It don't, man. And we are on both ends of the spectrum on the radio on this station. Like one minute we'll say he's dumb and didn't know what he's doing, and then next minute we'll just say he's a genius. And then one minute we'll say that we fighting a plan that's been in place and how we're gonna beat it, because this ain't something they started yesterday. But then we'll sit there and say that we think they're letting one person beat it. It is, you know what I mean? It all don't line up. And I'm glad we're working that way. I mean, it all coming to a light. Like, it's, man, Craig, having you on this side, I mean, you don't understand. And there's another person that talks about his coffee being black. He even said that about Donald Trump being. He's a military man, you know what I mean? And he talks about his coffee being. I mean, talks about Donald Trump being controlled opposition. Like, this is serious stuff, and I don't think he's here to help us. I think he's here to hurt us more than anything. And I'm glad that everybody thinks he opened up doors and eyes, but that's the demonic side of this. They have to tell you, if they tell you what they're doing and still get away with it, they move up the ladder. I mean, that's just how the game is played. Same thing with Declaration of Independence. Why do you think that sticks out in your mind? The one thing, it's a republic. We got that a woman asked a doctor, what do we got, sir? A republic if you can keep it. Well, that was it. I mean, he was telling you you're not going to keep it. It was designed for us to tear apart, and they're doing it one little by little. I mean, that's one line, and everybody knows that line from back then. But nobody knows can't hardly quote you a whole law at the Declaration of Independence or amendment or anything hard. Not everybody. I mean, I know some people can, but everybody knows it's a republic if you can keep it, sir. You know what I mean, ma'am? I mean, it just that was. I mean, that kind of show you how they play the game. And man, y'all look so good, boy. I'm gonna tell you, y'all think you look good, man. Like, and if y'all can't, if y'all on YouTube, y'all throw it up on the TV, man. Enjoy it the right way. Like, that's where they belong, on that TV screen. They don't belong on that little telephone.
Joey Clark Live on YouTube, folks.
Like and subscribe.
Joey Clark Live on YouTube.
And cast it to your TV like Randall does.
Yep. Yes, put it right on there, man, and just enjoy it like the guys intended. Out back, instead of SEC football, where they got your mind on something so you won't watch people like Joy. Go out there and put it on this for the SEC network. Get out that pen and paper and start looking up stuff and actually see where people come from and why they dog Donald Trump, but they don't say nothing about it did it. And why, you know what I mean? They talk about everybody else when they talk about somebody, but boy, you ain't never heard them talk about it in a bad way, you know, because he was them. Well, you're never gonna hear it. So, you know, he built, painted houses, and got our military sick when they come back from war on purpose. Use China's paint, and we use our tax dollars to pay for it. I mean, you know what I mean? You'll never hear a bad word about the man. So I enjoy it, man.
Appreciate the call, Rand.
Yeah, bro.
Love you, brother.
I don't even know where to stop at because it's so good.
Love you, bro.
And for those just tuning in, we opened the show by essentially saying, I'm tired of the rumor mill around the Montgomery Police Department. And to me, the last straw is this open question about, the chief's going to get fired. Well, he's still the chief today.
Right.
I guess a video was put out with the chief of staff at the mayor's office, and they're like, everything's good, and just don't believe everything you read on social media. So my question, I had it at the beginning of the show, is were there allegations of sexual harassment, that the chief committed sexual harassment?
Mm-hmm.
Was there investigation of those allegations? Mm-hmm. And what did that investigation find?
It's a good question. Another good question is it a requirement to work in the mayor's cabinet to completely lack a chin or a jawbone?
Hey, this is why I grow a beard. Please, don't be casting stones
You're letting the secret
in a
out,
glass
man.
house.
Just saying.
Not the beards. Weak chins.
I admit it.
I know. I told you shouldn't let that out.
It's true. We're airing these things out. We're not hiding the ball anymore.
Cat Williams, chill out just a little bit.
We've gone this entire show, and I know you got another show ahead of you, but I will whoop your ass.
Really?
I'm not making any. I'm just saying that if they tried to hang Chip Hill, they'd blind him.
All right.
Well, get it? Because it get caught in his eyes. You got it. You got it.
Yeah. Yeah, some days I wish they would just hang me, get it over with.
Hang me.
Yeah.
Hang me.
Hey, we got to hit this break. But first, this part of the program, I'm brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and her team, especially the lovely and talented Madeline Cannon, they're ready to help you with, buying a home.
Yep.
They're great folks if you're a first-time home buyer and learning the process. They can walk you through that from pre-approval all the way to closing day. But they're also helping out a lot of folks these days with refinance deals, especially veterans. They're VA home loan certified there at Alabama Home Mortgage, and the VA refi deals are second to none.
Best in town.
But of course, they could help you with a regular cash out refinance. So maybe you're looking to pay off debts, consolidate debts, or reinvest in your property or your family. Or it could be you're looking to get those student loans off your back.
That's a really good idea.
And they have a special deal there. Normally, like I said, it's a cash out refinance, but this is a rate refinance, which allows you to do more of the home's estimated value, and you don't get the same sort of penalties, let's say, when you do a cash out. So Alabama Home Mortgage, if you're interested, you've got student loan debt, and you've got equity built up in your home, Kim and Madeline might be able to make you a deal there. So, reach out to Alabama Home Mortgage today. That's 567-4223, 567-4223. You can also apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368 and Equal Housing Lender. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey, Montgomery drivers, why aren't you driving a new Toyota yet? Drive the Best for Less event at Toyota of Montgomery, where we make it easy to drive the best, safest, and most reliable cars on the road. Come in today and drive the best, like the new 2024 Toyota Camry LE, now only $299 a month. Or take over the road in the best-selling new 2024 RAV4 LE. It's only $349 a month. And Toyota of Montgomery makes it easy to upgrade your old vehicle by giving you more for your trade. So what are you waiting on, Montgomery? Drive the best for less before these offers end on January 31st at Toyota of Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
Camry MSRP $30,958. RAV4 MSRP $28,214. 12,000 miles per year for 39-month leases with $3,638 to consign. Zero security deposit with approved credit plus tax, tag, title, and $995 doc fee.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-368, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services.
Good folks over there, Joey.
Yeah, they really are. Ashley, Zach, Hayden. And I mean, we're losing track, though, because they keep growing. They keep hiring. I think there's some guy we know quite well, though.
Yep, believe so.
That now works for Pest Pro.
Yep. In fact, though, Joey, I think, was it yesterday? No, it was the day before yesterday. The silverfish.
Yes.
I actually saw one. I started taking pictures to show people these things really do exist.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a house. We were showing a house, I believe, in Halcyon, but sure enough, man. And when you see one of those and you're showing houses, first thing your client sees when he sees it is, oh, this house is infested.
Yep.
That's automatic.
And they look like little silver cockroaches.
Yes,
right?
they do.
And they're very old species.
Yeah, they're kind of old school looking.
Yeah, they look like something before major animals showed up.
Exactly. But this, with Pest Pro Services, like we always say, I think the best thing you could do is make them your everyday pest control service. For many reasons. For one, nobody wants to see these pests, but also you get that extra set of eyes, and you get that comfort knowing somebody else is looking out for you, Ed.
And it doesn't hurt that they're also great folks. Not only are they professionals, they're skilled, they're going to get the job done using the best and newest technology out there on the market. They're also always giving back to the community.
That's so true.
When we went to their grand opening for the new spot, I mean, the new spot was great, and it was great, the food and all that, but seeing how many people were there to support Ashley, it reflected how much she does for others.
Community.
And so these are the type of folks you'll be working with when you call Pest Pro at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the afternoon sent you. Now, should we go to a little bit of the tape here of Ted Cruz? Because I thought this was a pretty good, almost hysterical performance by Teddy Boy.
I haven't seen it, so I'm going to vote yes.
Okay, so let's get into this, folks. And if you want to watch with us, not just listen, you can always go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube. It's Joey Clark Live on YouTube or on Facebook or on the X platform. But here's Ted Cruz. Let's just listen.
The border crisis is an absolute humanitarian disaster, and Democrats don't care. Last year, 853 migrants died crossing illegally into this country. Alejandro Mayorkas didn't even know how many had died because he didn't care. When I brought 19 senators down to the border, we saw a man who had drowned floating in the Rio Grande. Democrats don't care. Last year, thousands upon thousands of children were brutalized and sexually assaulted by human traffickers, and Democrats don't care. Last year, thousands of women were sexually assaulted by human traffickers, and Democrats do not give a damn. Last year, more than 100,000 Americans died of drug overdoses from Chinese fentanyl flooding across the southern border, and Democrats do not give a damn. Now, you may say, well, come on, that's harsh. They care. They care. Somewhere in their hearts, they care about all the people suffering and dying. Baloney. Because if they cared, they would stop it. If you cared about the children being raped at the border, you would say no more. When Joe Biden came in, we had the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. He inherited success, and he deliberately broke it. Democrats want these open borders. And this bill, this mysterious bill, that is buried down in the basement of Chuck Schumer's office. All of you have a living as reporters. Ask yourself, why have you not read the text of the bill? There's a reason. As bad as we think the bill is, I promise you it's worse. The people pushing this deal knew, no, if the American people knew what was in it, they would be against it. This supplemental bill is a kamikaze plane in a box canyon with no exit, headed for a train wreck. If you look at this bill, the bill is not designed to fix this problem. By the way, the single greatest national security threat to America, this right here. I think the odds of a major terrorist attack in the United States are higher today than they've been any time since September 11th. You know what? In that spike, how many Hamas terrorists are there? How many Hezbollah terrorists are there? And what are we going to say when they carry out an attack here like October 7th in Israel? This bill is not designed to fix the problem. This bill normalizes 5,000 people a day coming in. 5,000 people a day is over 1.8 million a year. That's called an invasion. By the way, under Joe Biden, we've had 9.6 million. So the great Republican compromise is we're for 2/3 of Joe Biden's open borders. We'll let in 6 million instead of 9 million. This makes utterly no sense. And there's a reason. Republican leadership is like Charlie Brown with Lucy and the football. And over again, they run for the football, and over again, Lucy Schumer pulls it away. And Republican leadership lands on their ass.
Lucy Schumer.
They entered this negotiation saying, we will only do what Chuck Schumer will agree to. He doesn't want to fix this. He wants it to continue. So negotiating with Chuck Schumer on securing the border is like putting Hannibal Lecter in charge of a Go Vegan ad campaign. He might dine on your liver with a healthy side of fava beans, but it's not going to remotely do what the objective is. Final point. Not only is this bill utterly ineffective in fixing the problem, but it's designed to fail. The chances of this bill passing the House of Representatives, I can quantify it mathematically. The chances of this bill passing the House are 0.000%. It ain't going to pass. At lunch, we had a vigorous discussion at lunch yesterday. I asked leadership, why on earth would you be teeing up a vote with every Democrat and 10 or 12 Republicans that has no chance of passing the House? It's not going to become law, and I get it. Leadership really wants Ukraine funding. But that doesn't happen unless you get a bill that can pass the House. The only purpose of taking this up is giving Democrats political cover to say, gosh, we would have secured the border, but those pesky House Republicans didn't let us. It's a good talking point. It's complete baloney, but it's a good talking point. This bill represents Senate Republican leadership waging war on House Republican leadership. It's not designed to secure the border. And it won't secure the border. And that's why leadership wants it kept in secret. They don't want anyone to see the text of it. Republicans in the Senate ought to have the sense and sanity to say, secure the border, or else we're not going to go along with providing fig leaves to cover up the deliberate failure of Joe Biden and the Democrats. They have caused this crisis.
Again, folks, that was Teddy Boy, Ted Cruz there. And, yeah, he's not the only one. Rand Paul coming out saying it's a pile of steaming garbage as well, this bill that we're hearing talked about and bandied about in the United States Congress. And add to it the dramatic, I would say, over-the-top nature of this now conflict between Texas and the United States government, the federal government. Well,
think it's going to get ugly?
Yeah, I honestly hope it doesn't.
Me too, but
it might.
What was it? The White House said that something that he's putting the National Guardsmen in danger. It's like, read between the lines of what they're saying there, and that's done intentionally.
That's the part I didn't like, yeah.
It's like, what in the hell are you talking about?
Well, and if they can convince people January 6th is an insurrection, how difficult is it to convince folks that this is all Greg Abbott's fault and all the governors supporting?
Oh, sure.
And y'all are just like those Confederates from 100-something years ago.
Now, do you know if there any momentum on governors sitting their National Guard down as well? Other National Guard?
I don't know if we're there yet,
I
but I
don't
haven't
know.
heard
I haven't heard any new ones today. Like, there are already Alabama National Guard
Yeah.
that have been down there. But, yeah, I've not heard of any new deployments. So we'll see where it all goes. We got to hit another break. I think we'll have time for Duke.
All right.
Also got to chat to Ray Bowles for the weekend.
Oh, but of course.
First, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And guys, if you're experiencing, lack of motivation, lack of energy, always tired, perhaps seeing unwanted weight gain and loss of muscle mass, and you go to the gym, like that's one thing. Like you're still doing resistance training and you're seeing these problems, even a decrease in sex drive. Maybe you just feel like you're walking through life in a fog. Well, it could be low testosterone, low T. And, guys, low testosterone isn't something to deny, put off, or be ashamed about. Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of folks, men that are experiencing these issues. And, as a man, you should get a testosterone PSA check as part of your annual men's health routine. Urologists are recently suggesting men should even start getting their T checked at age 18. So at Montgomery Men's Health, the providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And at Montgomery Men's Health, they have low T treatments that truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym.
Brother.
That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido.
That's all right there.
Yeah, all right with me. You can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
I'm at Miss Dot at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, and Dot, we're ready to roll into a new year.
Happy New Year.
Tell me what's going on here at Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall.
The booths are being restocked. The hot cider is going. The rocking chairs are here, and there are great sales going on in some of the booths. Really and truly, there's some neat stuff around here. You need to come in and see it.
Shouldn't people plan to come maybe spend some time and find all the treasures here at Eastbrook?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got some that come in and spend their lunch hour, and they bring their lunch and eat as they shop around, and which is fine with me. But then some come and spend the whole day, and I just love that.
Do you have any events coming up soon?
Anniversary sale will be here in February. Don't know the exact date yet, but listen for the ad. Come shop that day because it'll be a great event.
All right, Dot, give us the hours of operation.
Monday through Friday, 10 until 6. Saturday, 9 until 6. Sunday is 12:30 to 4:30.
That's the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, 425 Coliseum Boulevard.
Hey, it's Lyle from Marguerite's. We all want to wish you a wonderful, happy new year, 2024. We're building all new, beautiful jewelry for you. Of course, we remake things. If you have anything sitting around, bring it in. Let's see what we can do with it. Marguerite's is full service. We have the best jewelers around. We have the best gift wrappers around. We have the best merchandise around. We have the best pricing around. We have the best quality around. But I'm not bragging. We're darn good, though. Come in and see us at Marguerite's. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to a great 2024.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas weather. Hi, everybody. This amazing weather pattern continues. Wetter than normal, stormy at times, and very spring-like. Flash flood watch continues in effect through Saturday. Another round of showers and storms again today. Locally heavy tropical downpours with a high in the lower 70s, low tonight in the low 60s. Saturday, a stronger system. It's the last one in the series with showers and thunderstorms. Rainfall could be heavy. Some storms possibly strong, maybe severe. Saturday's high 73, low Saturday night 50, and then a cooler, drier air mass overspreads the area on Sunday with highs in the mid-50s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE Credit Union makes auto loans easy with rates as low as 4.75% APR. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final segment of News and Views here in the afternoon. 272-9228. You dancing over there, Eddie?
Popping to the beat?
Yeah. Been having more fun in the home
Trying to get
studio.
into a hosting mood, you know. I don't want to, in a few minutes, go, hey, everybody, thanks for that.
Well, that shirt you should get you at a host. You're Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, baby.
All right. And this should also help. Hello, Duke. How
What
are
up,
you,
Duke?
sir?
Fellas. I'm trying to think of a name. We can each name. I got to come up with a nickname for Trump. Cause I listened to Ted Cruz. Wasn't it Ted Cruz a while ago?
Yeah, that we just played. Yeah.
I almost puked when I heard him, boy. Cause him and Tim Scott and Luther Vandross, that baby boy. What's the boy name? Luther got the name. Being his son. But anyhow,
Luther
Luther. What's Luther got to do with
Ross. Who in the saga is Luther?
That boy that talking
Great
loud
singer.
in the background. What's that little boy? You know what I'm talking about, the one that dropped out of the race too. Yeah.
Vivek.
Away,
You can get me to start singing "She Loves Me Back," which Luther's good.
Luther's wonderful.
Yeah, all of
Things
them
I
need a
didn't
pair
know
of
about,
overalls on. Put them in a special old Tim Scott. Put him in a pair of overalls. Get him one of those straw hats. Say yassa, massa, oh yassa. You know that'll help him out a little bit on that
You
part.
did the same thing yesterday, Duke. Be original. Come on.
I added that in. I added that in the extra stuff. You can still sit in that corner, be quiet right now. Okay?
I got the microphone, homie. They can hear me just fine.
Okay. But anyhow, all these weak men, so he can't be a mobster. What name can we call him? Because got men just taking orders, just like Ted Cruz. All of a sudden, he want to talk about the wall now because
All of a
came out and said,
all of a sudden, what the heck?
He's been a Texas senator. Of course.
Hear me out now. Old Master Trump came out and said, yo, don't get in no hurry to fix that problem yet till I get in the office. Everybody paused. Ever since he been out of office, he been calling the shots to these grown men, telling these grown men what to do in the Congress and the Senate.
That's what Republicans say about Obama. Now you're saying that about Trump.
Trump doing it out bold. That's what I'm saying. See, Obama might be hiding behind, so we got no proof. But Trump a bad boy. He can do it out in the open and tell the judge he ain't good looking enough for him. And this boy just do what he please. And y'all continue to get on your knees.
Man, you respect Donald Trump more than anyone I've ever. You give him such respect.
Yeah, and so much credit.
Lots of credit.
All roads lead to
I
Trump.
like he's dragging down. I like how he's dragging y'all down through there, taking y'all down through there. See?
Game
What
recognized.
if he don't make it? What if he don't make it?
Now we'll figure something else out.
Job.
I think there's still going to be Republicans that care about the border.
I think you're right.
But seriously though, if for some reason Trump doesn't make it, okay, throughout these 99 problems, okay, and Nikki the only one standing.
Oh no.
Will she get the job?
I don't think that they'll end up doing anything with Trump like a day before the election. I got a feeling that we'll have plenty of time to readjust.
I'm just saying anything can happen. Or what if they lock him up? Hypothetically speaking, now, would Nikki be the Nikki one in line to get the job since she the only one had a set of them to stand up against Mr. Trump?
I think that's in her mindset is, yeah, she's the only one left, but no. Just because you're the last one there doesn't mean you're what the people want.
She should qualify, shouldn't you? I mean, she's the only one left.
She's already qualified.
Yeah, she's qualified.
The big bad wolf fell down and everything and whatever and gone away, so y'all got to have somebody.
She's got as much chance of facing Joe Biden in an election that I do of leading the NAACP.
That wasn't my question, though. Shouldn't she qualify or not?
She is qualified. She's already qualified, but that doesn't mean she'll get the position.
Shouldn't she have the job since everybody else ran
by
away?
default? No.
That's how they did. That's how they did.
You know, I asked you yesterday if you had, was that breast milk coming through the phone? Are you a baby? A little baby Duke coming up here trying to act big like he would insult me to my face.
Let me tell you something, Don. Ain't like the mother fellas. I look you eye to eye and stand toe to toe to you and what you bring?
And you're gonna give me a big ol' hug. We're gonna go to Mar-a-Lago. Duke, I have jet skis, you baby.
And
jet skis
and babes.
What you want me to do? What you want me to do? Throw your parade for that, sir?
No, you want to come down there and ride a jet ski.
You would take that invitation in a heartbeat to go ride jet skis with the Don.
Who wouldn't? I misunderstood you. Back up a little bit. I thought you said you had one for me. Wait, back up. What did you say now?
At Mar-a-Lago, you come down, you look me in the eye, you tell me what's what, I call you a baby, then we ride on jet skis and bury the hatchet.
I want to ride on the bus.
The Trump bus? Or would you like to go on the helicopter? You know I'm Batman.
No. The Hollywood bus.
Hey, Duke, I'm running out of time here. I gotta run, man.
Yeah.
Later. Let's go to Chris. Hey, Chris.
Duke is what you get when you have Trump derangement syndrome and about 3 Thunderbirds at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
He has regular derangement syndrome.
It's all liberals are just obsessed with Donald Trump. They wake up in the morning, they're like, Donald Trump. They go to bed, Donald Trump. They're eating, they're taking a dump. It's all Donald Trump. That's all they think about. They're deranged. And by the way, Duke, for when you're dust in the wind, you got 3 replacements coming over the border for you anyway.
Thank you.
So anyway, I just think that the fact is that people on the left are mentally ill at this point. We have a serious mental health crisis here. It's beyond anything.
Now, Chris, I've seriously started to think that our democracy, so-called, it's actually a republic. Whatever the hell this thing is now. I think it's devolved into almost like competing cults. Like we can't understand one another's worldview, and it's just yell and scream and mobilize your tribe.
Well,
it's sad.
Well, that happened before, and
You're
it
right.
didn't end very well.
No, I didn't.
Well, I mean, it's just like you talk to a leftist. He's just like, y'all might as well be talking 2 different languages.
I think
like,
we
what
are
are you talking about? I don't know. And then they're like,
okay,
barbed wire. You're not pro-life if you put barbed wire on the border or something like that.
But you are pro-life if you support a war that gets 500,000 Ukrainians killed.
I have to keep correcting
That's
this. It's concertina wire. Nobody uses barbed wire anymore.
Oh yeah, Constantine wire.
Well, I'm not. That wasn't for you, Chris. That was for Eddie. He said it like 8 times today. Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Oh, barbed wire. Oh yeah.
Sorry, we used some barbed wire just the other day. We were patching a hole defense. I didn't use concertina wire for that.
Well, I'm in everywhere but Montgomery.
Oh.
You think y'all think in his private time Vince McMahon uses barbed wire?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're fired. Oh, the stuff that came out about him recently. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golly.
I mean,
not surprising.
They talk about sex trafficking. They're talking about all this terrible stuff with Vinny McMahon. I mean, what's going on in this world, man?
Well, if you go watch old Monday Night Raw, especially from the Attitude Era, is anybody really that surprised when you read those texts?
This is all an elaborate ruse by The Undertaker because he got fired.
Or was Vinny McMahon the one writing the script anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all fake anyways, right?
Right. Well, I got to run, Chris. I appreciate the call, man.
Later, buddy.
Y'all have a good day.
And we're going to close out the show with Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. How you doing, Ray?
Hey, good. I got a question. I need some help on advertising.
All right, what you got?
what can I do to tick the liberal media off so bad that they talk about me 24/7 like they do Trump for like a year straight? You got a couple of other reasons to tick them off. So maybe you have people out protesting in the store.
Don't
You know how
take much.
free advertising that is?
Now, if somehow you could organize a drag show right across the street, and then you go protest that, but then people find out you're in, that's not going to work.
Yeah. I'll never be as smart as Donald Trump when it comes to advertising. The man gets billions of dollars free advertising, and I have to pay y'all.
I know what you can do. You don't even have to use a Trump angle. Just do something wrong to Cat Williams.
Ooh, and wait. Look out.
Listen, it's Friday afternoon. Everybody's going to get the kids, getting ready for the weekend. If y'all need a floor, call us 285-8117. We'll be at the store tomorrow from 9 to 1. We'll come out and give you that free estimate. Next thing you know, you got a new floor down. Just that simple.
And when y'all call 285-8117, be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio. Appreciate you, Ray.
See you, Ray.
Guys, have a great day.
You too, brother.
Well, we're done here.
Yes, we are.
But you're next, right, Eddie?
I am next with me and Rosie and Sky Mosley. I think we're going to have a guest. Jay Quellen will stop by.
Jacqueline Tomlinson
Yeah,
stopping
man.
by.
Looking forward to it.
Well, y'all stay tuned. Should be a great Friday edition of Happy Hour.
Oh, yeah.
We got enough material to make it to about 4:10.
Yeah. Thank y'all both, by the way, for being here today.
My
Thank you,
pleasure,
sir.
Joey.
We'll be back on Monday.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana News Talk.